Welcome to the BEASTwriter family, where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we are going to be breaking down the news of the 2021 NFL schedule that's soon to be released at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There were already a few teams and a few weeks that were released as it pertains to the opening week of the season. The San Francisco 49ers, for those who don't know, are going to be on the road taking on the Detroit Lions, the new-look Detroit Lions under Dan Campbell, and they will be playing on a 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. So with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and start it. Again, thank you for tuning in and for subscribing to my channel here in the BEASTwriter family. Just be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notifications so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. Also, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time, because if you don't, you won't be entered for our Family Friday giveaways, which this week includes this San Francisco 49ers, Justin Smith, look at him, just manhandling Drew Brees. Y'all remember that game at Candlestick Park. And it's an autograph, if you can see it there. You see the autograph there? Yep, yours truly. So we're going to be giving away this bad boy for Family Fridays. One lucky winner is going to get this bad boy. Who doesn't like this? I mean, who does this? Who gives away just like autographs and in the frames and it's in mint condition? There's nobody that does this, but here in the BEASTwriter family. So it's all about good vibes only here. And again, I love you guys, and that's why I'm on here doing these live streams. Now, let's get to your questions. William Roberts says, what's up, Beast? What's going on for the BEASTwriter family? My man RW says, what's up, Beast? I see you, bro. Peter Moa says, Beast, what is up, bro? What is up, Peter? How are you doing today? Man, we got a lot of love here today. Don Lovato is here in the BEASTwriter family. BEASTwriter, good morning. Good morning to you on this wacky workout Wednesday. And I know I've been getting a lot of DMs on Twitter, on Instagram, and obviously here on YouTube and in my emails on workout fitness tips. And apparently you guys love these things. Typically I would be like, I'll post one here or one there. Obviously, BEASTwriter family, you see the barbell and the football. That's what football and fitness, that's what we do here. And how does that incorporate your workout gains and on the field when it comes to conditioning, strength and conditioning, when it comes to the players, why players getting hurt? Is it soft tissue muscles that are being injured? What's going on with all these injuries that are happening at the San Francisco 49ers as it pertains to the ACLs, the MCLs, the LCLs, and so forth? What do those mean? How come a high ankle sprain is not the same for one player as it is to the next? Well, there's different grades of high ankle sprains. So being that I'm trained, I can kind of go ahead and give it to you 100, at least my opinion on my thoughts on each individual injury as it pertains to the player. So we're going to be talking about more about fitness. Again, this is probably the dead part of the NFL season, aside from the NFL schedules that's about to be released, because from now until preseason, it's going to be fitness. It's going to be a lot of how to break into the NFL media. A lot of you guys are asking me, how did you do it on your own? How did you become the first beat writer, fully credentialed by the team, being self-employed? I'm going to go ahead and break down some of the tricks of the trades and what I learned. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm going to tell you guys step by step on what it took for me and my journey in making it in the NFL media. So with the San Francisco 49ers as a credentialed beat writer and now a member of the Pro Football Writers Association with year-end voting rights. Okay. Niner Drag says from the BEASTwriter fan, what up, Beast? How confident should Niners faithful be in the secondary this season? You can be somewhat confident. I wouldn't say too confident, but hey, you got Emmanuel Mosley, you got Jason Verrett, you got K'Waun Williams. That alone is one of the best boundary cornerback tandem in the NFL when healthy. Now, can they stay healthy? Drew Bro says, I hope I win that pick. Well, you got to get on the YouTube BEASTwriter family, bro. I see you on Facebook, but I think you have a YouTube account, Drew Burrows. I know you have a YouTube account because I think you chimed in from your YouTube account before. Mr. TNA 2005, we just started. What do you think of week 1 for the Niners? What do I think of week 1 for the Niners? Well, they're taking on the Detroit Lions. Ultimately, I think they're going to be able to win that game outright. I mean, I know the Detroit Lions, when you look at their roster, they lost Kenny Galladay. That was huge. That's their wide receiver 1. He's now off to the New York Giants. Now, they did bring in Jared Goff. They did draft Penei Sewell, who they thought would be going into the top 5. That's why they wanted to jump ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals at number 5, because they thought that the Bengals were actually going to take Penei Sewell to give Joe Burrow a blind side left tackle or a strong side right tackle with Jonah Williams there. They opted to go ahead and stay pat and the Atlanta Falcons took Kyle Pitts, allowing the Bengals to have their choice of Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase. They opted for Burrow's teammate in Jamar Chase, and that left Penei Sewell to fall right in their laps. That's why they're so excited. And some of these draft leaks are going to be going ahead. I'm going to be talking about some of these draft leaks and what I've heard. If you look at my Twitter receipts, it all pans out. For instance, lo and behold, why am I not surprised that Terrace Marshall was targeted by the New Orleans Saints in round 2? I said he was possibly going to go in round 1. They obviously took that defensive end Peyton Turner, who was a reach in my estimation, kind of like the next Marcus Davenport, if you will. Already did a podcast on that on my 32 NFL draft grades when it came to the NFC South. And here we are talking about it today. Yeah, okay, says, what's up, big dog? It's your boy TC. What is going on? How are you doing today? Dedrick Comer said, would Julio Jones be a good fit? Yes, Julio Jones would be an absolute good fit. However, his contract, as it currently stands, has to be a post-June 1 cut. And the reason for that is because the cap hit that the Atlanta Falcons would endure would be too rich for their blood. So, in essence, he will have to be a post-June 1 cut, and the team taking on that fraction of the remaining contract would have to do so and fit them into their cap ramifications. Now, how's that going to play out? We don't know, but hey, they already took one Atlanta Falcons in offensive center, Alex Mack. Why not get Julio Jones? Julio Jones, to me, again, I'm a huge Alabama Roll Tide fan. You guys all know this, coming from Roll Tide. And Julio Jones would be, when healthy, he's a first-team All-Pro when healthy. Unequivocally, a first-team All-Pro, future Hall of Fame player. Julio Jones is a beast. Beast approved. Julio Jones is the man. And again, if you play fantasy football, you guys know what I'm talking about. Julio Jones is a monster. Definitely a wide receiver 1. When healthy. That's the big question. If. All right, that journey in journalism will be interesting, especially some stories at the beginning. Yes, Mr. TNA, I can tell you some stories. When I started my rise as a credential beat writer, it was not easy. It was very difficult. There was a lot of haters. A lot of people wanted to impose their will, even when you were right. And in hindsight, you were right. And then you called them out on it. But like, hey, I was right. Like, what do you have to say about that? I just want to know your opinion. And then they go ghost on you, or they send you death threats. Yes, I was getting death threats to the point where cops got involved. Absolutely. Not joking. True story. A lot of true stories like this. Alicia Heath says, good afternoon from upstate New York. Good afternoon, Alicia Heath. And do yourself a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. Just open up a new web browser. You're on Facebook, so I know you have a YouTube account. Everybody has a YouTube. Go to youtube.com/BEASTwriter so you'll be entered to win for Family Fridays this Justin Smith signed autograph frame. And yes, it's 100% real because obviously I worked with the players. Duh. And look at this bad boy. This is sweet. And he's sacking Drew Brees, the now retired Drew Brees. So again, I want to give this out, but obviously we need the subscriber count as well as the social media engagement in order to do that. Because this is pretty, where are you going to find this? Nowhere. All right. Mr. TNA 2005 says that journey. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, we got my man JP Edward De Dios, Arizona Cardinals fan, says, yo, Hicks wants out. Yes. So if you watched my early, again, boom, checking off a YouTube Twitter receipt, boom, just another day at the office for Beast. But what I say in my earlier my earlier podcast when it came to my 32 NFL draft grades and the Arizona Cardinals, I said the reason they got Zaven Collins, which I had them mocked, to the Arizona Cardinals. I had Zaven Collins mocked there because that's what I was hearing out of Arizona. He was ultimately the pick. Again, that's another YouTube receipt that checks out, Twitter receipt. And so when that was made, I said in my analysis in my podcast as I was running the NFC West draft grades when it came to the Arizona Cardinals that Jordan Hicks, hey, he's going to be fighting for a roster spot because it just got Zaven Collins. And people were saying, no, Zaven Collins is more of an outside line. No, he's going to be inside linebacker, bro. Oh, no, he's outside. I was like, no, he's going to be inside linebacker, bro. He's going to be fighting. He's going to be playing alongside Isaiah Simmons, who was last year's first-round pick. And Jordan Hicks is on the outside looking in. It turns out now, my man JP just said it, and ESPN reported it earlier, that Jordan Hicks is now seeking a trade because he knows the time is up in Arizona. What do you think about that, JP? What are your thoughts on that? We called it, bro. Mr. TNA 2005. That's why you got to know all 32. I have the Lions having the best draft in 2021. A++ for me. Oh, wow. You have the Lions having the best draft in 2021. Wow. Right now, as it currently stands, I'm still running my draft grades and finishing up the AFC West. I already did the NFC South. I already did the NFC West. I'm finishing up the AFC West today as I cover all 32. Love doing this. Takes a lot of time, but I love doing it. As it currently stands, I have the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs as having A grades. And the reason I do that is because, again, you have to take into account, the pre-draft trades that were made, right? Some of those trades that were made landed some star quality players. Orlando Brown Jr., blindside left tackle from the Baltimore Ravens. That was huge for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And then you take it a step further and you look at some of the other teams that got a grade, like the Denver Broncos, right? They just went BPA. Patrick Surtain fell in their laps at number 9. Go figure. That forced the Dallas Cowboys to trade back from 10 to 12 to go pick up Micah Parsons. Go figure. And then in the second round, all they did was trade up from 40 to 35 with the Atlanta Falcons and landed one of my draft crushes in that entire draft class in Javonte Williams. Go figure. And then they get in the tail end of the third round, Quinn Miners. Go figure. Right? If I'm not mistaken. Was it third round? Tail end of the third round? I believe they got Quinn Miners or tail end of the second round. One of the two. I think it was third round. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then they also got Baron Browning, the outside linebacker. So they have a lot of players, right? And then you take into account the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, all they did was get Creed Humphrey, Nick Bolton. I mean, those two players alone weren't an A grade. And they also got a few pieces later in the draft. So Brett Veach did a very good job there. I think the Chiefs and the Broncos hit out of the ballpark as it currently stands in my draft grades. Now, I'm still covering the rest of the AFC West. Obviously, the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders, I should say now, didn't do so hot. I mean, they probably had the worst grade out of all the teams I graded. That's going to come out later today. So if you want to see my 32 NFL draft grades as it pertains to all 32 NFL teams, as I continue providing my draft grades, the Las Vegas Raiders, man, I'm shocked because Mike Mayock is sitting there. I know John Gruden is the ultimate decision maker, but dude, the Las Vegas Raiders are horrible at drafting. Just make me the GM and I will turn this ship around. I mean, drafting Alex Leatherwood at number 17. Okay, again, I'm a huge Roll Tide fan. Okay, huge Roll Tide fan. But what are you doing? Alex Leatherwood? So you trade 3/5 of your offensive line, 2 of those players going to the NFC West, right? Rodney Hudson going to the Arizona Cardinals. And then you have Gabe Jackson going to the Seattle Seahawks. And then you trade right tackle Trent Brown, shipping off to New England Patriots. That's 3/5 of your offensive line. Then you go ahead and you release Richie Incognito, then re-sign him, and then you give Colton Miller, the blindside left tackle, your first-round pick. I believe he was drafted number 14 overall, if I'm not mistaken. A huge contract valued at $14 million APY. And then in the draft, you reach for a right tackle who basically is more of an interior guard at number 17 because of his arm length, because he doesn't really have the quick feet, the lateral agility to kick slide outside. Some people question his ability to move in open space. So he's more of a phone booth type of a guy. I don't know, man. Hey, but whatever. Alicia Heath says, Roll Tide roll. Yes, Roll Tide roll. Holla at your boy. Casey Fegler says, keywords, when healthy. Yep, when healthy, my man. And thank you for tuning in. John B says, New York Times, Rustin Hardin expressed a criminal indictment of Deshaun Watson the following weeks, and he has hired Alan Dershowitz and Jose Baez to Watson's defense team. I have no idea who those people are, but that is breaking news, apparently. Thank you for providing that. I appreciate that, Joby. And welcome to the BEASTwriter family. Okay, yeah, Rob Rusia 415 says, what's up, bro? What's going on, Rob? How are you doing today? Hope everyone's having a splendid day. And again, if you guys have missed anything on the 2021 NFL schedule, we are just breaking this down. We can also talk Raider football. We can also talk draft grades. Again, I got my vaccine yesterday over at Levi Stadium, and everyone was wondering, how come you didn't do a live stream yesterday? I was like, dude, man, I was freaking knocked out, bro. Like, that second vaccine got me good. Just saying it, got me good. Couldn't even get a workout in. That's how bad it was. My shoulder was sore, and I don't know, for some reason, it just made me really tired. Like, I literally was tired. Aside from that, my car broke down. That was bad news. And AAA had to come out. So shout out to Brenton and Jose and Javier for fixing my car and getting it back up and running after getting my vaccine. But yeah, that's how my day went. It was a joyous day, but good vibes only. Good vibes only here in the BEASTwriter family. Chris Sabato Sevilla says, aloha, my brother. Aloha, how are you doing? Alicia, he says, already subscribed. That is what's up. I see you. Thank you and mahalo. Robert CO415, the Cowboys pick. Let's go. All right. Don Lovato says, when the 49ers play Green Bay, do you think Aaron Rodgers would be their quarterback in Green Bay? Wow. That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. Because I mean, I honestly can see the Denver Broncos. I know this sounds crazy, right? But people thought I was crazy when I said the Miami Dolphins were going to trade number 3, and they did. People also thought I was crazy when I went on air right before the draft and saying if there's one team, when I was asked if you missed this podcast or this YouTube video that I posted, you can check it out after this live stream. I was asked by Vegas moments before the draft to say, hey, what's the surprise team on day one that's going to make a splash, right? Basically, what's the one team? Basically putting me on the spot. And I said, you know what? Wow. I'm going to say the Chicago Bears. I think they're going to move up for a guy like Justin Fields if Trey Lance is, obviously I have Trey Lance going to the Niners. So if it's Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Niners don't take Trey Lance, it's going to be one of those two quarterbacks. Ended up being Justin Fields. And that got a lot of traffic. Just saying, so if you're asking me right now, what I think if Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback in Green Bay, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say Green Bay. Now watch it not happen. Now watch me be wrong. I don't know. It's just tough. How can you trade the MVP of your team? Now, they really pissed off Aaron Rodgers when they went out and got Eric Stokes instead of going wide receiver. I mean, they could have had Terrace Marshall, right? You could have had Terrace Marshall as my number 25 ranked player on my big board. And you also need an Elijah Moore type of slot wide receiver, just like Aaron Rodgers had with Randall Cobb over the years, right? So you really need that outside guy. And listen, Terrace Marshall is similar to what Jordy Nelson was, right? He's a deep threat between the 20s. He can stretch the field vertically. We all know what Jordy Nelson did in his prime. You combine that, and if not get him a slot wide receiver like a Randall Cobb, and you get the best one in Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. So again, I don't see the reasoning for not going wide receiver in round 1. You have Jair Alexander, who is the number 1 ranked cornerback in my grading system, and I voted him as a PFWA first team All-Pro. He ultimately was. And gosh, I don't know. Why would you go after a guy like Eric? I just don't see it. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm pissed off. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. Mircha TNA says, Urban Meyer from Romania just succeeded to make a lot of players mad with a tebow. Yes. So for those who don't know, Urban Meyer is now making tight end Tim Tebow a tight end. A quarterback, I should say. Quarterback Tim Tebow, a tight end. How does that even resonate? How does that even make sense? My man Jim Trotter and Steve Weiss kept things 100. They were on the NFL Network. We don't really want to talk about this. How can you give a quarterback turned tight end a shot when there's other more qualified people who play the position? And can Tim Tebow block? Is he an inline blocker, or is it just a publicity stunt? I hate to say it, GM Trent Baalke, but is this a publicity stunt? Do you really view Tim Tebow as a tight end in the NFL? I mean, yeah, I love his passion. I love his drive. I love his determination. I see that he's a very religious Christian. I get it. I like it. I love it. But when it comes to football and transitioning from quarterback to tight end, when you've been out of the league for how many years? How many years has the guy been out of the league? 7, 8 years? Something like that? He's been out of the league for a while, right? And could be exaggerating a little bit, but you guys know what I'm saying. The guy's been out of the league for a long time. All right, and Tebow Mania, I don't know, man. I get he played for the Florida Gators. He stays in-house, in-state, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but there's more qualified people to play tight end. I mean, you're literally picking a guy who never played the position to play the position when there are so many players that were undrafted rookie free agents who probably are better than Tim Tebow. And that's not even a question, probably. They are. I don't know. Niners All Day 55 says, what's up, Beast? What's going on? How you doing, Niners All Day 55? Rob Garcia, 415. They're going to be hunting Tebow. Yes. Niner gang in the building. Twan 1412 says, subscribe. Twan, I like your avatar, man. You look at you doing the wheelie like DMX Rough Rider style. Shout out to DMX. Rest in peace, my man. I love DMX back in the day, man. Rough Riders Anthem was one of my favorites. Down Bottom was one of my favorites. thought it was cool listening to that, hyping that music before, my middle school basketball games. Robert Cia 415 says, Naughty Gang, okay, do you think Kaepernick will make a comeback like Tim Tebow? Alicia Heath from the BEASTwriter family. Alicia, this is a great question. And again, if you have not watched the Colin Kaepernick versus the world on Snapchat, they used, as in Complex, who produced the video and the footage of that, I struck a deal with Complex, so they were able to use my Colin Kaepernick videos on here YouTube, right here on YouTube, and that's actually in their Snapchat Colin Kaepernick versus the world footage. So go figure. So if you see anything with Colin Kaepernick in it, odds are it came from this guy right here on YouTube. You can just search Colin Kaepernick. You'll see all my YouTube videos on Colin Kaepernick, and yeah. They reached out to me and said, hey, Beast, we need your videos. How much? I said, what are we talking here? Rob Rucia 415, the guard they got is good on KC. Yes, the guard they got, Rob Rucia 415, the guard that the Kansas City Chiefs got from the New England Patriots was a guy by the name of Joe Tooney. He signed a 5-year, $80 million contract, making him the richest, highest paid interior guard in the NFL, playing the left guard position. Now he teams up with Orlando Brown on the left side of the formation, making the weak side a now strength of the team. They then went on and got Creed Humphrey, who is an absolute steal at number 63 in the second round. How can he fall that far? I don't know. But he did. And if you're watching my real-time analysis as the draft was unfolding, that was a hit. If you guys missed my draft analysis in real time, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, because people are like, I want to know your thoughts in real time. You can't really make stuff up on the fly. You're going to have to do this and just wing it. And I did. And it was a hit. Apparently, everyone loved it. So again, if you missed it, you should go back and just watch the draft and see what I had to say in real time. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, guys. I had a lot of fun. I was eating pizza while working out, doing dumbbells. If you guys were watching it, I was literally eating pizza, working out with a dumbbell for every right prediction. And I got tired. Everyone that was watching is like, dude, you're getting tired. Okay. I was like, I know I need to get one wrong because I can't be doing dumbbells, reps, and hitting curls all the time and eating pizza. Now I'm getting fat, but I'm still working out, getting my gains in, and I'm getting a little bloated, but I'm still getting the picks right. So I was like, dude, I hope I get this one wrong. And I just kept on hitting. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it was I don't know if I should do that again, but that was fun times. Almost threw up. Jean-Paul Edward Didio says, Hicks wanting out is unfortunate. Asking a rookie to be ineffective Mike is asking a lot more drama between Keim and Vance Joseph. JP, you hit it on the nail. For those who don't know, people are saying, well, who's Hicks? Well, we're talking about Jordan Hicks here. He's the inside linebacker in that 34 base defense that the Arizona Cardinals like to run. What happened was the team went out and drafted Zaven Collins, the versatile Zaven Collins. And one of the things that they liked about him coming out of the draft was his versatility, just like Isaiah Simmons was. They didn't think that he would drop that far. In fact, on their big board, what I was told is he was, well, I'm not going to exactly say the number, but he was really high on their big board. Okay, let's just say that. And that's why I had Zaven Collins mocked to the Arizona Cardinals, because I knew he would be the pick. And based on my current draft position and the teams that I thought would trade up, I still felt that Zaven Collins would slip to the Arizona Cardinals. And if he was on the board, aside from the running backs, who I thought would have been better options, they would have went with Zaven Collins, and they did. So Zaven Collins is there. Now, Jordan Hicks is kind of upset. He's going to be basically requesting a trade right now, and he's probably not going to be with the team when the season starts. So if there's anyone that needs an inside linebacker who can be a tackling machine, kind of like what Devondre Campbell was when he was shipped out to, I think, was it the Atlanta Falcons? You guys get a player like that. Robert CO415 says, no, Cap is done in the league. Wash their hands with him. It's sad but true. Pretty much. Robert says, great. Cards are in disarray. JP says, glad YouTube recommended UB-Dub. I had no idea. So I guess YouTube has these recommended videos. And if your videos are of value that YouTube sees as a good fit for whatever interest you guys are in, then my videos will pop up in your YouTube recommended videos section. And apparently JP says I was recommended in his video search on his account, on his YouTube account, apparently. And he's an Arizona Cardinals fan. So again, I love talking about all 13 NFL teams, and that's why I got a lot of Steelers fans. If you look at my Seahawks podcast on the NFL Draft Grades, I got almost 2,000 views, which is good for me. A lot of good feedback there. A lot of Seahawks chimed in, so I picked up a lot of Seahawks fans just from that podcast alone. And again, here it's all good vibes only, man. I don't care. Niners, Seahawks, all good. It's all about the BEASTwriter family. Hey, we're all good. We're all good. It's good vibes only here. All right, Casey Felger says Raiders can't get right during draft. No, they can't. It's horrible. Robbie C says Mike, the GM, thinks he's smarter than everybody. Dre the Great says Leatherwood is going to be a good offensive tackle. Ooh, okay. So Dre the Great from BEASTwriter family says Leatherwood, as in Alex Leatherwood, who was drafted number 17 overall by the Las Vegas Raiders, is going to be a good offensive tackle. I'm not so sure. I think there were better, higher rated players on my big board. They should have went in another direction. Plain and simple. And I'm going to put up a podcast on this as to why people in NFL circles I spoke with thought that was a huge reach. And I even, without even knowing that, I knew it was a huge reach. He didn't even crack my top 50 on my big board. And for him to be drafted number 17 for the second straight year, the Las Vegas Raiders, congratulations to you guys. Sorry, not throwing shade, just keeping it 100. You guys made the worst pick in round one for the second consecutive year in the BEASTwriter grading system. Last year was Damon Arnett out of the Ohio State University. Congratulations, you did again with Alabama Roll Tide Roll, Alex Leatherwood. And again, I'm a huge Roll Tide fan, but you don't reach for an offensive tackle who some view as an interior guard because of the inability to move in open space and strictly be a phone booth type of a guy down in the trenches. Just my opinion. Mr. TNA, time will tell. I have the AFC West with a good grade, except the Raiders, who I like the most from that division. Yeah, the AFC West, man, they hit out of the ballpark, bro. If you watch my draft grades, they indicate the same. So aside from the Las Vegas Raiders, which I'll be bumping that channel, I'm sure the Raider Nation are going to chime in. Oh, BEASTwriter, you're a hater. No, I'm just a realist, bro. And my track record speaks for itself. So say what you want. It's all good. Because at the end of the day, time will tell. Rob Garcia, 415 says Leatherwood is seasoned, played a lot of ball at Bama. He did. He's a seasoned veteran. But there's a lot of unseasoned people who actually had better careers. Rolls Royce from the BEASTwriter family says, what's up, bro? I'm pumped to be open against Detroit and Philly. Niners starting 2-0. Rolls Royce says, please don't talk Raiders. Nobody cares. You know, the fact is there's a lot of people that care about the Las Vegas Raiders. I cover all 13 NFL teams, bro. So it's not just Niners here in the BEASTwriter family. So I'm going to talk about every single team because, one, I like doing it. And two, I just like talking all things NFL. Jerry Yang says, wow, Alan Disher is on Watson's legal team. That's the guy who was on OJ, Epstein, Weinstein, and Trump's lawyer. He's going with the big guns to defend him. Well, isn't that interesting? My man Jerry Yang is here. And Jerry, if you want to chime in on the live stream, go ahead and do so. Jerry Yang is usually on here for Yang Mondays. Unfortunately, I need to catch up with my draft stuff. Of course, I got my vaccine yesterday. My car broke down. There's a lot of things with that. I'm doing a lot of things on the back end here as far as getting some game film breakdown footage and getting some of that stuff rolling with the whole software and trying to configure that. So there's a lot of stuff on the back end I'm doing. But yeah, we'll get it straightened out. So Jerry, if you're in, hop on if you can. The second vaccine was like Joey Bosa meeting Fitzmagic week 1. Yeah, dude. The second vaccine is a beast, dude. Like, it hurts, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got it right here. And funny story. So the nurse, if you follow me on Twitter, I got it at Levi Stadium, obviously, and ran into some law enforcement officers who I used to chat it up with. It was great catching up with those guys and the K9 unit. But as I was getting my vaccine, standing in line, sitting in the chair and got my vaccine, I should say. And the nurse says, oh man, you have big arms. I said, oh, thank you. Cool. And she's like, she said, do you want me to give you the shot with my eyes closed or my eyes open? I'm like, what? She's like, do you want me to give you the shot with my eyes closed or my eyes open? I'm like, why would you give it to me with your eyes closed? She's like, well, you have big arms. I can't miss. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I was like, just give it to me with your eyes open. So she administered the shot. And yeah, that was that. I thought that was funny. And apparently she said you're not supposed to massage your arm. But I was massaging my arm, the first one, and nothing happened. But apparently she said, don't do that. What you're supposed to do is just take Advil or something and go to sleep or something. like that. But I asked her, I said, hey, can I work out? She's like, yeah, you can work out. But literally my arm was like dead. It could not move. So there's that. All right. Rolls Royce says, Rodgers ain't leaving. Let's move on. Rolls Royce knows a lot of stuff. He must know somebody in Green Bay. Jalda Dalko 26. What's up, Beast? What's going on, man? How are you? Hector Harrow says that second vaccine is no joke. I was the same on Saturday after my second vaccine. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm struggling right now with this live stream because one, I'm super tired. Like, I am super tired. Like, it just drained all my energy. It was almost like me burning 1,000 calories on the Stairmaster, which you guys see on Instagram. And I post some of these videos up for you guys on my IG stories. But that's the same exact feeling I had. I was tired, like, and fatigued. I wasn't feeling weak in the sense like I couldn't move or like any body aches or anything, but I was just tired. And my arm where the injection site was administered was just sore as heck. It was so sore. And I don't know why. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. All I know is it hurts. Casey Felger says, I think Green Bay will fight to keep Rodgers. Alex Faulkner, my man, thank you for tuning in. You are here. I missed you, Alex Faulkner. Says, Beast, I'm here today. How are you, brother? I'm doing good. How are you? All right. Casey Felger says, Meyer letting Jesus take the wheel. What's up, G? My man, what's up, G? Says, Devontae Adams insinuated that he'll leave if Rodgers isn't with the Packers. Yes, if you didn't catch this is some news here, guys. Devontae Adams, a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, first team All-Pro, just coming off his first team All-Pro, had his career season, just like Aaron Rodgers did in his MVP season, said that he is probably not going to return to Green Bay if Rodgers does not return. So this does not bode well for the Green Bay Packers organization and Brian Gutekunst. Brian Gutekunst, you better do something about this. You better rectify the situation. And you just kind of shot yourself in the foot by going after a guy by the name of Eric Stokes out of Georgia when you could have got Elijah Moore. You could have got a Terrace Marshall. I mean, shoot, forget it. Okay, if not those guys, go after Tutu Atwell, Dwayne Eskridge, Rondale Moore. You could have gone after somebody, but you did nothing. And you just pissed off Aaron Rodgers even more. You might as well just taken a third quarterback to play behind Aaron Rodgers, like Jordan Love, and just drafted someone like Kyle Trask in the tail end of the first round to piss off Aaron Rodgers, because that's what you did. Because who does he have working with him? Aaron Rodgers, aside from Davante Adams. He has MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Okay, cool story, bro. And who else? I mean, can you name another wide receiver outside of Davante Adams and who I just mentioned, MVS? You can't. You can't. Let's keep it 100. Donald Johnson said, let's go, Beast. Let's go, man. I see you here in the BEASTwriter family. Good vibes only. All right. Mr. Teenye 2005 says, do people in Japan watch NFL? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And when NFL Europe, back in the day when it was on, there's a lot of people in Japan that actually watched it. I know. Because there's some Japanese players who are playing in the NFL Europe, and they're like, oh, man, this guy's Japanese. He's playing in the NFL Europe. I have a chance. Now, NFL Europe was one of the things that I liked. I wish they brought back NFL Europe. I know they tried the whole, the WWE football thing, the XFL and stuff like that. That kind of didn't happen. The whole, what was that one? What was that? The recent, gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Was it the AAFL or whatever it's called? That really didn't work. The American Football Alliance or whatever that's called, that didn't really pan out. Bring back NFL Europe. I mean, you're going to London, having these games there. There's a strong presence over in Europe. Why not just bring back NFL Europe? And it comes down to funding. I get it. But NFL Europe was the pipeline for some of these players coming in, especially around this time, to where they'll be playing right now. And we would be watching NFL Europe football. And we see guys like Jamal Robertson. If you guys don't know who Jamal Robertson, he was a running back who played in NFL Europe, made his way there, and then made his way to the San Francisco 49ers, right? Because he was sent to NFL Europe by the 49ers. And then he led I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that year in rushing yards during the preseason. Just saying. So there's guys that come out of NFL Europe who actually pan out. I like NFL Europe. Mr. Team, bring it back. Bring back NFL Europe. Hey, I'll cover the team in NFL Europe. That'd be cool. Mr. Teenage 2005, Colin Kaepernick will never be back in NFL as a player, coach, or waterman because he went against the system. Slick68 says, Yo, Beast, touch on the possible Halloween matchup versus Justin Fields and the Bears. Well, all right. So if you want to talk to me about the Bears and the Niners, well, the Niners are definitely going to win that matchup. The Chicago Bears don't have an offensive line. I know they got Tevin Jenkins, but he's whatever. And when you look at the team moving forward, their defense is vastly overrated. Now, I know they re-signed Mario Edwards Jr., who is a nice, solid backup and versatile defensive player who play the defense, the piano along the defensive line. I like that pick, or that pickup again. Where they re-signed him. So that was a strong signing there. They also still have Akeem Hicks there, one of the best nose tackles in the game. And then you also compound that with some of these other guys that you have there. Obviously, Akeem Hicks is one of those players who can play the nose, but he also can play that 3-4 defensive end position, so you get the picture there. Khalil Mack's obviously strong, so he's still there. But I don't think Khalil Mack is the same player that he once was when he was traded by the Raiders to the Bears. In my grading system, he's kind of tapering off a little bit. Still playing at an all-pro level, was voted as an all-pro in my grading system, but his play has been tailoring off a bit. With that being said, again, the Niners are just going to be way too strong for Justin Fields. I mean, that Niners defense, that defensive line is going to win this game. Calling it now. Here we are on May 12th. If, barring no injuries, of course, to Nick Bosa, if Bosa stays healthy, they're going to create havoc against the Chicago Bears, and the defensive line in that defense is going to force Justin Fields into making critical mistakes. Justin Fields probably going to throw 2-3 interceptions. All right. Maybe have a couple fumbles. Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead are going to eat, and they will get it done. Calling it now. See, I'm not a hater. I'm not an Eric Armstead hater. I'm a realist. Don Lovato says Tebow is a yes boy and Cap isn't. That's very true. Mr. TNA says Darius Washington, Marvin Wilson will have a great career in NFL. Yes, I love Marvin Wilson. Marvin Wilson was a nose tackle for the Florida State Seminoles. Again, he was a player that kind of fell. I'm surprised he fell so hard. Will have a great career in NFL, even coming as undrafted players. It's so crazy how no one picked these guys up. It's crazy. Marvin Wilson fell hard. Tribe says Rams Niners has to be prime time. And if it's not, it could be flexed to prime time. Frank DeBoss says Lap from the BEASTwriter family. Lap has been out of the game too long to be good. Maybe a backup. That's it. All right. Robert C. 415. I hope we play more power this year with Banks' pick. Everyone's thinking that. Everyone says, I hope we play with more power. But hey, let's face it. That's not going to happen. Shanahan is his own blocking system style of team. That's why they got Trey Lance. They're not going to divert for one player just because they drafted him and reached for a player who doesn't really fit their system. Bad move on their part. Jerry Yang is in the house. Jerry Yang, how are you?
What up? Sorry, let me change rooms real quick.
You're
What
good.
up, man?
How are you?
What's
going on, dude?
How you doing? Very
Are you in your
informal.
daughter's
today,
room?
so. I'm in my daughter's room. Yeah.
That's what's up, dude. We're in the Yang daughter's room.
The Yang daughter's room. You know, it has a lot of toys, a lot of kid stuff here. But just want to call in to see how you're doing, dude. Like, how's the Vax got you, huh?
Bro, it was no joke. Okay, I don't know what to
down
say.
The beast.
When I got it, well, I got it, right? And I was like, I'm cool. Like, it's cool. And then it started getting sore, like, literally, I would say within the first hour. Okay, within the first hour. Yeah, and then I was like, okay. And I was watching TV, and all of a sudden, it just tightened up. Like, I couldn't move it.
Oh, my God. You were supposed to stretch it, though. I don't know why that nurse told you not to. Like, my nurse was like, stretch it out, do all the massage, do everything, is what she said.
So she said not to massage it.
Why did she say that?
I don't know.
She also told you to close your eyes, right?
Yeah, I got it, Levi's. I said, wait, you're saying don't massage it? It's like, yeah, don't let anyone touch your arm. I'm like, wait, but what about me, my own arm? It's like, no, just do this and take an Advil or
that's
whatever.
what I did. You can do that, and I think Tylenol is what you're supposed to take. I think Advil is still not that great for you, but yeah, man, I was feeling the same way. I was like dying too. So, so what do you think about the schedule, man? The NFL schedule came out, right? Are you excited? Like the Lions are the first two, Lions and Eagles, right? Those are first two matchups.
Yep. I think they're gonna go 2-0.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna go.
It's on the road. It's gonna be rough, though.
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna just freaking come out of the gates and just freaking fire on all cylinders. I think they're pissed off as hell.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be tough at all. I think Philadelphia might give them a run for their money just because it's Philadelphia and they always have close games.
That's true. That's true.
But with that being said, I don't see them not losing. I'm actually going to go to bank. I'm going to actually go to Vegas and place that bet. I'm placing that they'll go 2-0. There should be a prop bet for Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw, how many sacks they'll have in those wins.
They probably have it. If they have it, I'll send it to you. How's that?
Dude, send it to me, and I will fix some analysis. Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw. I'll be like, bro, you better get it done. You better get it done because I just placed a money wager on you, and then the coaches be like, "Don't listen to BEASTwriter, man, because then you're going to be giving up gap containment, and we can't do that. You can't just go out. You have to have rush integrity. You can't be doing this." No, I'm going to place a bet, and I'll post it up there. I'll be like, "Hey, look, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong." They have to have prop bets for that.
Yeah, if I see it, I'll send it to you. I'll let you know. They do. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know what the over under is.
It'll probably be
over under.
I guarantee it'll probably be like 1.5. If there's one where Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead, a prop bet for the first 2 games is like under 3.5, or under 3. It'll probably be under 3. If it's under,
you think it's 3? It's probably good over, right?
I might take the over that. I might take the over on that. Yeah, I do. I'm telling you, Javon Kinlaw is going to be a beast this year, dude. And I know I'm his biggest inspiration. Javon Kinlaw, I know I'm your biggest inspiration. Mahalo. But he's going to feast. I'm going to make a shirt that says, "I'm Javon Kinlaw's biggest inspiration."
That's what I was thinking. You should do that and sell it too, right?
Oh, no, I am. I'm going to make a shirt that says that. And on the back, I'm going to say all the things that Eric Armstead said. No, everything that Eric Armstead said to me in those tweets, I'm going to screenshot those and put on my back and be like, "Hey, well, he can't say he didn't say it. It's all over." And he kept it up there. He's obviously proud of it. He's obviously proud of it. He kept it up.
Yeah, because he never deleted it, huh?
And he never apologized for being for attacking a specific demographic. You know, he targeted a specific demographic. We know this.
I know.
But anyways, all right, let's get back to it. Will Banks be a day 1 starter? That's some of these questions.
What do you think? He's gonna
I think so.
Greenlaw's competition. You think so? He's huge, so. Man. That's so big.
Here's the reason why. Shanahan is not gonna admit fault. So even if he struggles throughout preseason or something, he doesn't want to admit fault, and it would give us
be wrong.
Talk about being drafted number 48 overall. That's how many second-round picks in the Shanahan era have not warranted a starting position in their rookie season?
I don't think any, right? Like maybe Beathard. I guess he's in the 3rd round. Right?
Yeah. So I mean,
so probably not. Yeah,
none.
Everyone.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I mean, if you're going based on past behavior, odds are Aaron Banks is going to start. You don't draft a guy in the second round to ride the pine and say, "Oh, well, he's learning the system." Screw that. You don't draft. No, you don't do that.
If he doesn't start, he'll rotate in at least, right? Like he'll at least rotate in for some plays. So I can see him on some pass plays or 3rd down plays. They rotate him, and if he doesn't start, if he does, but most likely I agree with you. He's going to start if you picked him up in the 2nd round. So,
all right, Niners All Day 55 says, should Lance start? Yes, he should start, but not right away. I think they're going to use Jimmy Garoppolo as a scapegoat. That's what I'm hearing. I'm sticking to my story. I don't care. It's not even a story. Watch it unfold. If the Niners do well, no, I'm serious.
I know.
The same thing that happened with Trey Lance. My God. People who were surprised about Trey Lance, like they weren't in the BEASTwriter family because I called this since day 1.
Yeah.
I said it wasn't Mac Jones. Stop the hype. And when Lombardi's like, "Oh, well, who are these people who are saying it's not Mac Jones?" And I'm like, and remember, I went on the live stream when he said that. I said, "Okay, we're gonna find out who sources are more correct." And I don't have to say my source. My sources tell me this. No, I'd be like, "This is what I'm hearing," or "This is what I'm feeling. This is my gut feeling." You guys can decipher for what it's worth. I don't say, "Oh, well, my sources are like." No,
so do you think it was Lombardi? Do you think it was ever not?
Huh?
Was it ever not Lance? Do you think it was always Lance, or do you think they
switched
from Fields to Lance?
No, what I'm hearing was at number 12, they're seriously considering taking Mac Jones at 12. That's why he was always entertained in the conversation. Okay, and when they moved up to 3, that's when they kind of deciphered between the quarterbacks Justin Fields, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Okay. Yeah,
They
that sounds
said it
about
was
right.
Trey Lance
That
all the
sounds more
guy.
accurate.
There's some people internally who really felt that Justin Fields had a conviction about Justin Fields. Okay.
I thought so too, right? I mean, for a while we both thought that, and then it kind of shifted. I think it was a week before the draft we all thought that, and then all of a sudden it shifted. I wonder if the epilepsy thing played a role in it, but
No.
yeah,
They
who
knew about
knows?
that a long time ago. No, it shifted because the only reason it shifted was simply because, well, the news gets stronger as it gets closer to the draft, and that's where the news really
That's
pops out. And again, I had to decipher between what was real because you can be told a bunch of BS too. So that's why, that's why the BEASTwriter family follows me, not just for the Niners, but anything. I mean, check it out. I mean, on Twitter, I said Terrace Marshall is going to be targeted by the Saints, right? And it comes out that see, so it's just like, dude, like I don't have to say my sources tell me. And never in my tweets I said my sources tell me this. Like no, like that's first of all, it's too many characters to put in there on Twitter. We have a certain amount of characters. That's just
you have to
point,
make
bro.
it count. You have to make it count. Make the tweet count. So.
Yeah, make the tweet count. All right, Michael McCann says, "What's up, Beast? What are you hearing about Jaylen Hurd with San Francisco letting Bourne move on and not taking a wide receiver in the draft? Does that mean that we can expect big things from Hurd?" No, Jaylen Hurd is damaged goods, bro. That's all I gotta say about that. What do you think about?
They're gonna let him? They're probably gonna let him go after this season if he doesn't play, right? So I think they're gonna try him out. But like you said, the back injury is pretty significant, so I don't expect much from him too. I do agree with you that eventually they should pick up like a veteran wide receiver, but who would that be? When will they do that? I think that's up in the air. So, but Jalen Hurts done. He's no, what a bust, right?
Yeah. What's up, JT? He says, "Happy Wednesday, Mr. Sakamoto. What's up, BEASTwriter family?" All right. He says, "You're tired is my normal."
Me too. Like it's not working out.
We see that you're super tired. The same looks Zeke when he practices in this offseason. James, my man JP Edward Didio says, "My arm was swollen after the first shot. I looked swole but uneven." Were you swole after your first shot? Oh, you're muted. Hold on. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was pretty sore after the first shot, but not really swollen. There's no effects, but second one killed me.
Yeah. Brad Price says, "How happy were you to see us pick Lance over Mac?" I'm pretty sure my downstairs neighbors thought we had an earthquake when they announced. I was so happy. I wasn't surprised at all. I thought it was the pick.
Yeah.
Oh, how happy was I?
How happy were you? Yeah.
Oh.
Were you happy?
I guess I was happy. I mean, I don't.
It was more relief, probably, right? For some people, I think.
It was just more like, for me, because I get information. It wasn't like a shocker to me, or I feel like the happiness of me being happy left when I knew it was Trey Lance all. When I knew it was Trey Lance all along, and that's in a sense on a scale of 1 to 10. When I was told that was going to happen, that would probably be, I would say, like a 7.5 to an 8.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's pretty high. 5's being average. 7.5 is really good. 8's like extraordinary, like screaming for joy without using the emoji.
Jumping up and down. That's when we win the Super Bowl, right? That's the up tier. All right, Beast. I have to run, but London say hi. All right. So have a good one, all right?
All right. Thank you so much, Jerry. Appreciate you. All right. If you guys want to hop on the live stream, go ahead and do so in the lower ticker here. Just hop on. Look at that long ticker. StreamYard.com/2T, 2V, PD, 4G, DQ. Say that 10 times fast. Rashi says, "What's up, Beast? What is going on, Rashi, here in the BEASTwriter family?" Ross Chavez says, "Beast, you're a G. Love your content. You're right a lot more than you're wrong. That's why I listen to all your shows now." Thank you so much, Ross, and mahalo for the love. Hey, again, if you're going to break into the NFL media, and again, I'm going to talk about this because from now until preseason, that's basically dead time. People have been asking how I did it. I can only tell my story. It's very different from everyone else. But again, Jim Trotter talked about it, and he's my mentor. He talks about work ethic, right? You have to have a strong work ethic and have a conviction about what you're saying, right? So like basically, if you have a strong work ethic, there's no secret ingredient, right? If you missed my live stream with Jim Trotter, he's the man. I mean, the reason why he's on NFL Network. So everything he says holds true. And again, there's no secret formula to breaking into the NFL media. However, when it comes to my gains and how I built up my following was getting right and being right. You know, my job is to project and predict. It's the player's job to perform. They don't like it, play better. Plain and simple, right? And you have to be able to have thick skin. So when people have Twitter wars with you, whether it be engaging with players, whether it be engaging with coaches, although coaches don't do that, you really have to put yourself in a situation to where, hey, I'm not going to back down from you. I don't care who you are. You don't like it, play better. And the reason why they're upset is because you're right. Because if you weren't upset, or if you were a nobody, they wouldn't care in the first place. But the fact that they're responding to you means they care, right? So with that being said, again, thank you. I appreciate the love and support. And again, I love covering all 32 NFL teams. And now you know why, because I feel like, you know, I'm very well versed in all 32. I built my network around all 32. And here we are today here in the BEASTwriter family. Mr. TNA says, Beast, the Niners are losing to the Eagles for the second year in a row. Eagles healthy O-line will keep Bosa and company away. Wow. So you think the Eagles in week 2 are going to beat the San Francisco 49ers? I'm going to go and say the 49ers are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know, man. I guess that's a homer take because I'm from the Bay. I grew up a diehard Niner fan. I got Jerry Rice here. I don't know, man. This is what I think is going to happen. You guys remember this game? Against the Philadelphia Eagles, the stand with Donovan McNabb. Who remembers that game? I do. I was there. And the goal line stand, if you guys don't remember that game, the Philadelphia Eagles had 8 chances from the 1-yard line. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. At least, no, that 8 chances from inside the 5-yard line to go ahead for the go-ahead touchdown. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And they had Donovan McNabb. They had all these other players trying to go ahead and get it done. They couldn't do it. I'm going to say the 49ers are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Now watch me be wrong. And watch Mr. TNA be right. You talk about the offensive line. He's talking about the offensive line being healthy. Obviously, Brandon Brooks is a first-team All-Pro perennial player. He is an absolute stud. He was out all last year. Now they have, obviously, Lane Johnson coming back. Obviously, we all know what we're getting with Lane Johnson. They have offensive center Landon Dickerson, and he's going to be possibly getting a redshirt season because obviously they have Kelsey there at center. So I don't know if Landon Dickerson is going to come off that torn ACL coming from Roll Tide Roll, drafted number 37 overall by the Philadelphia Eagles, just like they drafted another Roll Tide player at number 10, moving up to number 10, I should say, from number 12 with the Dallas Cowboys for Devontae Smith, my number 1 player on my big board. I love talking football. All right, let's go ahead and move on. What else we got here? All right, Michael McCann says, who do you see being the number 3 wide receiver for San Francisco this year? What are the odds we trade for a number 1 like Adams or OBJ? Thoughts on any other trade options at wide receiver? You know what? Odell Beckham Jr. is very intriguing. I wouldn't mind trading for a player like Odell Beckham Jr. And I know people say, well, he's a diva. He's this, he's that. Hey, Odell Beckham Jr. can single-handedly help this team reach the Super Bowl and get this team over the hump. He's the key to everything. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., when healthy, he's a top 10 wide receiver all day long. Actually, a top 5 wide receiver all day long. Now, can you stay healthy? I don't know. What about Julio Jones? Julio Jones, he can give up a second-round pick. If you're in it to win it this year, you already stole one Atlanta Falcons player in Alex Mack. Why not go after another veteran Falcons player in Julio Jones? Now, he's going to be obviously a post-June 1 cap cut, if anything, or trade, whatever. But if he's able to restructure his contract and says, hey, I want to win a ring, I'm in the later half of my career, I think San Francisco is the way to do it. You can be the missing piece here between the 20s. We don't have a viable deep threat. You're going to provide us that 4.39 speed. Let's just go ahead and go after Julio Jones. I like any one of those two players. And Devontae Adams, I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but I could be wrong. Frank the Boss says, if Denver gets Rodgers, they're going to be tough. Yes, thank you so much. And mahalo for the super chat, my man. Frank the Boss is the man. And he was also the winner of the BEASTwriter family giveaway. Let me know if you get that. You should be getting it probably by Friday. So let me know if you don't get it, but you should get it. I gave you your tracking number via email. Let me know if you don't get it, but you should get it. Mr. TNA, along with the other 3 winners of the BEASTwriter family giveaways. Mr. TNA 2005, Eagles are so dangerous when everybody doubts them and think they will lose easy. People will not know what to expect for Hurd, Sirianni, and I see Devontae Smith have a monster game. yeah, I'm not doubting it. I think Devontae Smith, again, was my number one ranked player on my big board. He drops to number 10. Go figure, because it's only 170 pounds, 175 pounds. I don't give a crap. Just look at Marvin Harrison. Rashi says, with Kyle being so good with the running game, you think he could bring back the wishbone or a version of it this season with Lance at quarterback? It could be something very interesting to see. If you guys don't know about the wishbone offense, basically it's where you have multiple backs in the backfield in the wishbone formation, so to speak. And yes, I can definitely see Kyle Shanahan using that with Trey Lance there. Can you use it with Jimmy Garoppolo there? Absolutely not. Again, why did they draft Trey Lance? I said in my earlier live streams when the pick was made, and even before the pick was made, and you guys were saying, "Oh, who is it, Beast? Who's going to be the pick?" And I said, "You know what? I'm hearing Trey Lance. This is what I'm going to go with my gut." I know people are saying Mac Jones, don't buy that smoke. Don't buy that smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Don't do it. 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 Why? Because Trey Lance opens up the playbook and Jimmy Garoppolo cannot. Plain and simple. And if you're going after a guy like Mac Jones, you're basically getting Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0 with a stronger pinpoint accuracy on all three levels. All right. Niners All Day Faith Side says, okay, we understand TNA can't wait for the game. Jerry Yang says, Mr. TNA has to call in before and after week 2. That will be a fun podcast to break down that game. Mr. TNA from Romania knows his stuff, bro. He really does. And much respect for my man, Mr. TNA. 704 Bound Charlotte says, what's good, bro? What is going on with your Carolina Panthers? How are you happy with your Panthers these days? He says, we got the Jets opening game. We're going 1-0 to start off. Yes, you are. That's another prediction I would say. Again, the NFL definitely kind of raised the stakes here, kind of building up the hype when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. Now, remember, they traded, as in the New York Jets, they traded away Sam Darnold, opening a roster spot for the quarterback position to be Zach Wilson at number 2, where there's going to be no quarterback controversy because obviously Sam Darnold, I believe, was a top 5 pick, which I know he was a top 5 pick. And with him now out of the picture and being shipped off to the Carolina Panthers, they now have something to work with. Now this is kind of like a revenge game for Sam Darnold to kind of prove to the New York Jets, hey, you didn't give me a strong supporting cast, but I have one here in Carolina with DJ Moore and guys like Robbie Anderson and guys that you drafted in the 3rd round, like an inline blocker, an H-back type of guy, like tight end Tommy Tremble out of Notre Dame, who it's Aaron Banks' teammate. And now we have some solidified pieces so where I can be successful in the future. We also have Taylor Moton, not the blind side, but the right tackle, right? We also I think they got Cam Irving, Pat Elflein. So there's a lot of different players and pieces in place that the team can really move forward with. And really, when you look at their team, it's pretty much a nice team moving forward, especially along the offensive line. You can see what GM Scott Fitterer was doing when he addressed free agency and then heading into the draft. They really got some sound players. If you want to see my podcast on the players that they got, go ahead and see my draft grade for the Carolina Panthers. I gave them a solid B. They made a lot of draft day trades, moving back, still landing Terrace Marshall at number 59. Let's not forget about him. So when you take that all into account, you really have to look at the team and say, hey, look, the Carolina Panthers might be a dark horse in the NFC South. Do not sleep on the Carolina Panthers this year, because I said Sam Darnold, if he was to come out of this year's draft class, he would be my number 2 ranked quarterback in this draft class behind Zach Wilson. And I know that sounds crazy, and people are like, what the heck are you talking about? Because Sam Darnold sees ghosts. Well, okay, cool story. But look at what actually took place. Again, there's a reason why all these players kind of came into play and were off to the Carolina Panthers because they were buying into what GM Scott Fitterer was doing there. And I did a podcast on GM Scott Fitterer, got a lot of good feedback and got followers and subscribers in the BEASTwriter family, like 704 Bound Charlotte. And again, you just see what the Carolina Panthers are doing here, man. They're solidifying the offensive line. They're solidifying their defense. They got Daquan Jones. They got Hassan Reddick. They got Denzel Perryman, who I thought it was an absolute steal at middle linebackers. He's a 2-down thumper. But again, what he brings to the table is the intangibles that GM Scott Fitterer likes from his defensive front 7. And then they went out and got A.J. Bouye from the Denver Broncos. So there's a lot of different pieces that they have there. And again, don't sleep on the Carolina Panthers this year with Sam Darnold at quarterback. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just saying it. Should I say it? I don't know if I should say it. I don't know if I shouldn't say it, but I'm saying it. All right. Niners all day says we got the Jets Darnold about to go off. Yeah, he is. Jerry Ying said, I'll do that and say why I think the Eagles all-line will win against the ferocious Niners D-line. I cannot wait for Trey Lance to play, and good luck to your favorite team. Yes, and our defense will eat up Zach. Yes. Defense is going to eat up Zach Wilson. Yeah, because the Jets don't have a real strong offensive line, although they did trade up from 23 to number 14 for Elijah Vera Tucker, and that was a very sound play. I already broke down my 2021 PFWA all-rookie team selections, even before rookie minicamp starts for a lot of these teams, and I said that Elijah Vera Tucker was an absolute great selection at number 14 because you need to provide help up front for Zach Wilson to have any type of success. So instead of sitting back at 23, taking a guy like Travis Etienne because you need a running back as well, why not trade up for an offensive lineman to give whoever that running back is some room to work with between the tackles? All right. Joshua, the Bucks fan Logan says, hey guys, what's going on, man? How you doing? And welcome to the BEASTwriter family, Joshua, the Bucks fan Logan. What do you think about the draft class that you had? You guys went after Joe Tryon. You guys got Kyle Trask. What are your thoughts there? So for Charlotte Bounces, hit them like buttons. Yeah, hit them like buttons. You guys are watching this podcast and this video, this YouTube channel, whatever. Like the podcast, share this. If you love it, Mr. Teenage says, we'll definitely tune in and have my popcorn ready. Michael McCann says, I don't know about Jones. OBJ's injuries are legit injuries where Jones' injuries appear more chronic and reoccurring. I'd love to see them target Dede Westbrook or Alshon Joffrey. Alshon Joffrey from like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No, Alshon Jeffrey if a trade isn't an option. I'm not high on Alshon Jeffrey. Again, thank you so much, Michael McCann, for your input. I would rather have the proverbial boom prospect and veteran prospect, I should say, in Julio Jones. He just brings another dimension. Even though his injuries are chronic or maybe chronic, we don't know. He was relatively healthy for the better half of his career. I mean, being a 2011 NFL draft pick, right, and drafted in the first round, coming to the same draft class as Aldon Smith. I think you look at his games played, it's pretty stable. I like Julio Jones. Maybe because I'm a Roll Tide fan, I would rather have Julio Jones. He just adds another dimension to that offense. I think Alshon Jeffrey is more of a position receiver. Now, he is a big red zone target, but again, give me Julio Jones in that deep speed. Johnny J5 Scott, how you feel about the Ravens trading their best offensive lineman? Well, thank you, Johnny J5 Scott. And remember, if you are on YouTube, get us on, if you're on Facebook, get us on YouTube. But how do I feel about the Ravens trading their best offensive lineman? If you're talking about Orlando Brown Jr., I actually did a podcast on that when it came to the Kansas City Chiefs draft grade. You can go ahead and see that and what I just say about that. And I also broke down that trade when they traded Orlando Brown Jr. to the Kansas City Chiefs, yielding a first-round pick in return. I like the move. I like the move for the Baltimore Ravens because at the end of the day, I got to be honest, Orlando Brown Jr. wasn't the best offensive lineman. It was actually Ronnie Stanley, but he just injured his ankle, ending his season against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which prompted Orlando Brown Jr. to move over to the left side. And if you were to ask me who I would rather want, Ronnie Stanley or OBJ, I would rather have Ronnie Stanley. Now, that's not to say OBJ is not going to be a serviceable or an all-pro, Pro Bowl type of blindside left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, because he is. But again, Ronnie Stanley was just one of those players that's the reason he makes $19.7 million per year. I mean, plain and simple. And one of the highest rated blindside left tackles in the game behind David Bakhtiari and, of course, Trent Williams. Mr. TNA says, I would have Sam Darnold as NR6 in this draft. Was not a fan of him in 2018. I hope to be proved wrong and see Darnold have a Tannehill-like career. Ryan Prince Production says Falcons might be good. Falcons might be good. They might be good, yeah. If they stay healthy. Matt Ryan stays healthy. If Julio Jones can stay healthy. If they have Kyle Pitts. All those guys can stay healthy. Yeah, my man CJ Ruthless Sports in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, bro? Just at work for a little bit. I could just do a little quick in. Yeah, the draft was pretty solid, man. Must admit.
We have Carlos Avila says, haha, 49ers suck. He says, "You guys stay faithful to the Bay, but don't even play in the San Francisco, and y'all finish the season in Arizona."
Haters. I don't even know what team he goes for. He probably goes for the Raiders, which they are trash.
Yeah, he says Raiders. He says he's a Raiders fan. And Carlos,
nobody,
okay. You know what? But
nobody in Las Vegas likes him.
But I think Carlos is. I think Carlos is upset because he knows that the Raiders drafted horribly. And that's why the BEASTwriter gave him a grade of a D, because they reached for Alex Leatherwood at number 17. And then they go up and go after a guy like Trayvon Moehrig when they really didn't have to do that. You don't have to go after a safety in a weak safety draft class and go after a guy like Trayvon Moehrig when you have strong safety Jonathan Abram there. And because it's a weak draft class, he felt the need to trade up to number 43 with the San Francisco 49ers from 48 to go ahead and get that guy who probably would have fell to 48 in the first place. And then to compound that with the other players that they got, which is horrible players, there's no reason that they shouldn't have drafted a guy like Amari Rodgers, right? Or De'Ami Brown, right? Some of these wide receivers, and giving guys like Hunter Renfrow and Brian Edwards a run for their money. Because outside of wide receiver one, Henry Ruggs, that's all they have. So don't be mad at us.
Yeah, don't be mad at us. Just by the fact we're just a better built team.
We're just about the good vibes only here in the BEASTwriter family.
Yeah, don't be mad that your owner wants to model his team after the Niners. I mean, Mark Davis even said it like that. He even talked about he wants to model the team like the 49ers. Remember he did say that?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's funny. Carlos is this is fun. Oh boy, Carlos again. Bashar Z says, "I don't think the Raiders drafted enough safeties." Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm not a hater. Hey, my hat's off to Raider Nation, but if Carlos Avila is not about the good vibes only, we're just gonna keep it 100 here. I just spit some facts off the top of my head, and we can go on and on if you want. But he's not even in here anymore. He kind of just disappeared. Where'd he go? He's not even anymore.
Aaron Banks was rated better guard than the guy they just drafted, Leatherwood. So that tells you a lot about how terrible the Raiders are. Who drafts a kicker in the first round?
Oh, Sebastian Janikowski? Oh, my goodness. Hey, he was high on their board. He was.
Yeah, but why would you draft a kicker that high? I still wouldn't draft a kicker. I would wait until maybe later round at least.
It's funny because I don't know what else to say. I think that's funny though. But he's not in here anymore. He obviously has nothing to say.
The draft is good. I think when it comes down to it, I think Austin Watkins may be a steal for us when he comes undrafted. I think he might do better because he's hardly dropped any passes.
Yeah, right. What do you think of Aaron Banks? You still think he's going to be the real deal? I need to know your input on this.
I think he fits the offense perfectly, and I think he's going to be the immediate starter. So there's no way you draft this guy to sit on the bench behind those other guards. He's going to be a starter.
Yeah. The funny thing about this is I don't think he's a good fit.
Well, because his athleticism isn't that fast. He doesn't got that quick speed-wise, but he does fit more of a pass blocker.
Look at what Bob McKittrick had in his offensive lineman. You had the fast, athletic lineman who can stretch the field horizontally, who can pull, who can trap, who can do all these things. You can't do that with Aaron Banks. You just can't.
He's more like a pass blocker.
Yeah, well, he's good in pass pro. That much I'll tell you. He's really good in pass pro.
Yeah, BEASTwriter, you probably need to reach out to him and tell Aaron Banks, you need to drop 20 pounds and get in better shape.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to tell him, hey, you need to be on some diuretics. You need to take some water pills, bro, which is probably illegal and probably part of the banned substances. Because it's considered a masking agent, but it's really stuff you can get over the counter. But no, in all seriousness, he needs to clean up his diet, right? And if he already has some kind of a diet plan, again, I'm going to talk about nutrition and how that plays a role. Like, you need to break down your macronutrients, bro. Like, you really need to know how much and weigh your food out. I'm telling you, the players do not do this. I eat with them at the cafeteria when I was a beat writer. They don't weigh their food out. They just get whatever, which is fine. I mean, if you're George Kittle and you're freaking who cares what you eat, right? And people say, "Oh, I need the food. We have a double take. Oh, I need the calories. I need the carbs." Cool, but there's different types of carbs that you get. You don't eat cereal in the morning because that's just going to spike your insulin levels, and then you're screwed throughout the rest of the day, and then you hit that crash. Like, you can't just be doing these things, and that's why it's like it frustrates me because There's a reason why the New England Patriots are one of the teams that are always in it to win it. Nutrition plays a role. They have a nutritionist dedicated for this specific thing that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think Aaron Banks will. I think the only thing that's going to hold him back a little bit is his athleticism. But I think if he drops about 10 pounds or a little more leaner, I think he'll be able to improve that next level. It's like the thing with Notre Dame is they've been known to run the ball effectively good, and they play a similar scheme. But I think, like you said, he's not that athletic enough to be a good run blocker. He's more of a pass blocker at best, which is a good thing. We need pass blockers.
No, you're right. You're right. And then when people say, oh, I think we're going to go to a more power-based run scheme, I'm like, no, they're not. They're not going to go to a power-based run scheme. Now, what Kyle Shanahan is going to say is when these questions come up, I'll give you the answers, just like I always do. If someone asks him, is Aaron Banks a good fit for, the zone blocking scheme and all those reach blocks or those combo blocks or those pulls or whatever the case may be, or hitting that second level? Is he good at being a second level blocker in open space? Okay. Leveraging your blocks, splits, whatever. He's going to be like, oh yeah, that's
the area he needs. That's the most area he needs to improve on. But I think when it comes down to it,
what Kyle Shanahan's going to say is that's one of the things we liked about him. See, he said the same exact thing to me when I asked about Dante Pettis coming off the line of scrimmage. So he will feed you fluff as a second round pick because it's his guy. And he traded up for Dante Pettis in the second round. So I don't buy any of his BS when it comes to analyzing, because he'll throw you whatever he wants. Because if you say anything else that goes against what he thinks, it's game over.
Yeah, majority of it, like you got to improve that area. So that's what Aaron Banks can really bring to the table is that nastiness. Yeah. But I think when it comes down to it, I think he's going to have a good training camp. I think he's going to work on dropping a little bit of that weight. So I think that's what they've been asking him to do is drop maybe about 10 or 15 pounds of his weight and then play into that zone scheme, which he's familiar with because it's similar to what Notre Dame did.
Dame does, yes. But, okay, when you say drop 10, 15 pounds, where is that weight coming from? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you tell a player just to drop weight, you're going to be compromising your strength. And that's one thing that he has is point of strength at the point of attack, right? Anchoring, having a strong, formidable base. If you're telling a guy just to drop weight, now you're giving up some strength, right? So how do you keep the strength without compromising that part of your game, but then still drop down on the body fat percentage? And where are you going to – because some of the body fat percentage you need, right? But it's just where in what area.
There's going to be some percentage. Yeah.
So he needs to do some cardio. So he'll be doing cardios. And let me tell you something. If he hits cardio with me, if I got him, he'd be on fasted cardio. I'd be like, you know what? We need to drop off some fat. So you're not going to be eating anything in your morning workout with me because you're going to be doing these workouts on an empty stomach. We're going to hit you with some fasted hit cardio, get your heart rate up. Then you can eat, and then we're going to hit you with your second level later on in the day, 4 or 5 hours later, and that's where we're going to hit your strength training. So make sure you get your carbs and your input there. So now you're working your food gains into your workout routine to where you're getting gains both on the field and then off the field as well. If you just tell a guy just to drop weight, well, then he's just going to do it by a calorie count, and you really can't do that. And I see this all the time, bro. Trust me, I'm in this game, bro. I've seen it. Players ask me, dude. Players ask me all the time, what are you doing? Like, how do you get like that? And I see what they're eating, and I tell them, oh, this is my meal prep company. This Busy Fit Meals or, Lean Feast, Silicon Valley. You know what I mean? I give them some meal prep things. And then sometimes when they look at it and they get food and they go to Chick-fil-A down the street, there's a lot of sodium in there. So it holds on to a lot of water weight. So again, the macros do not add up because you're having so much sodium in your system to when you're actually trying to lose weight, you're holding on to a lot of water. So is it fat or is it just water? I mean, that's just another story.
Maybe water. The water weight can be it could be what it is too, because if you do it that way, it does kind of like regular weight wise. You know how you have to have the carbs, but doing more cardio does give you more ability to move more. That's what I've noticed the difference when you do cardio treadmills and all kinds of distance walking, stair climbing, all that. It does burn your fat off, but you want to maintain the same weight, but you want to be more athletic.
Yeah.
Some athletes maintain to keep it and some don't. You want to.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. A guy called Ed says, "Sup, Beast? Is Fred Ward in this chat in the chat again?" Yes, he is. He was actually in our last live stream. But no, getting back to it, man. That's why I'm going to talk about fitness, because fitness is such an important aspect of the game, and not too many, insiders, analysts, or whatever, because they're not in it. They don't know, right? It's not their job to know. I mean, they're not in the game, but I don't know about it. So that's why I think I can bring a competitive advantage in a sense where this is something that I can talk about. And again, not saying, mine's the end all be all, but it's a staple of foundational of educational information that I can throw out to some players because it works for them. And I've seen them. They're legit. Like, I changed some guy's diet, not going to name the player, freaking had a career season. Okay. And again, it's like, how come he's wondering, how come no one in college ever told me about this? How come no one, even in the NFL, told me about this? They just said, oh, you need to eat more chicken. You need to eat brown rice. No, you don't eat brown rice. You need white rice. Brown rice, the difference between brown rice and white rice are two different things. And that's why, you can do people talk about dietary. Go look at the macronutrients, which I'm going to talk about later. But anyways.
All right, bro. I'll catch you later, bro. I got to get back on task, but I did appreciate your time. But
all right.
Yeah, all right, dude, I got to catch you on right now, but all right, bro. Later,
all right,
bro.
Dude, get back to work. All right, later. Don't get in trouble. All right, so that was CJ Ruthless Sports. It's just one of those things, guys. And Grand Riser from the BEASTwriter family says he is athletic enough to run block. He averaged 29 points in high school, and watching the tape, he gets the second level at a high rate. We're gonna have to see this. I'm gonna have to see this. Time will tell. Time will tell. JP Edward Didio says, is he still as effective if he loses weight, though? Is he a big boy who plays with his weight to his advantage? I think. Yeah, exactly. So how do you compromise? What's the difference between the two? Rashi says, bring back Chip Kelly to be the team nutritionist smoothies forever. And oh my gosh. Okay, I have a Chip Kelly story to tell you guys. Every freaking day before practice, there'll be smoothies. I'm not kidding you. On the practice field. So there's a field, there's a practice field, and there's a side field. Okay, there's two fields. Okay. The side field's the closest to the entrance. The practice field's on the other side on the other side. So on the side field, right before the side field hits, there'd be all these smoothies lined up. And I was like, man, I wonder what's in these smoothies. Because smoothies technically, I'm not going to say they're bad for you, but there's a lot of sugar in a lot of these smoothies. And sugar turns into fat. So what kind of smoothies are in there? Like, what's in there? What's in there? I always wondered what was in those smoothies. But yeah, for those who don't know, Chip Kelly was known to give his players morning smoothies. Rob Banks from Skull, for those who don't know, that's the Minnesota Vikings fan base. So we have, obviously, Panthers fans, Cardinals fans in here, Niners fans, of course, Vikings fans, Bengals fans, Steelers fans, Raiders fans, all 32 fan bases lockstep into one. Rob Banks, my man, says Trey Lance first start against his hometown team. Ooh, that would be interesting. We'll have to see about that. That'll be a storyline, right? Aron Singh says, what's up, bro? Are you going to cover the rookie training camp? Oh, I cover everything, bro. Rob Banks says week 12. Yeah, I think that could be a start week 12 for Trey Lance in his hometown. Nico Wilson says, what do you think of Trey Sermon, I think, and do you think Mostert is going to stay on the team this year? I like Trey Sermon. Again, I spoke about this on my earlier live streams. I already did my podcast on the NFC West and my draft grades on Trey Sermon. So go ahead and look at that podcast after this one concludes. You can see my draft analysis as it pertains to all 32 NFL teams. But in your case, you're San Francisco 49ers. So again, it's very important that you guys go back and watch all my videos. Because again, videos that I put out 3 weeks in advance, 4 weeks in advance, sometimes 2 months in advance, or 2 months later, they hold up today. So again, the grades that you're asking as it pertains to this one player, I covered all the draft selections for the San Francisco 49ers. So again, before hopping on the live stream or even after this one concludes, go back and any videos you miss, you're going to want to watch them. And I'm being biased because it's mine, but hey, look at the knowledge that I put out, and then you guys can kind of say, you know what, BEASTwriter's wrong on this one, or BEASTwriter's right on this one, and then drop your comments in there. There's not a podcast, YouTube video that's too old here in the BEASTwriter family. I always engage with you guys on every single one and get back to every single comment. So again, home of the good vibes only here in the BEASTwriter family. All right. Grand Rider says, I watched the tape, Ryan. I see him reach block and get to the second level. He's more athletic than you think. He averaged 29 points playing high school basketball. Okay. So I guess we agree to disagree. A non-athletic person can't average 29 points a game in basketball. Oh, yes, he can. And they're trust me. I played with some guys who are just big, and they can average like 35 points a game. So I would have to disagree with you on that one. Jason Elzor says, dang it, I'm late. Stupid work is busy. What's going on, Jason? How you doing? Michael Thomas says, what's up, Ryan? Just dropping in before work to say hi. Happy as always to see your subscribers numbers going up. True talk with true facts. Beast family. That's what's up, my man. We have Bashar Z for the first time here in the BEASTwriter family. Bashar, how are you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. You know, it's all about the Niners, man. Good to have you on.
How you been?
Good. Been hearing about Ryan Sakamoto. The name dropped and KMBR for so many years, and I was always wondering, who's this Ryan Sakamoto guy? Who is this guy? And finally talking to him. So here we go.
Oh man, well, thank you so much, and mahalo for the love, man. Appreciate it. Where do you call me from?
I'm over in Roseville, California. I used to live over in San Jose, close to Levi's, but cheaper living out here over in Roseville, so I'm out here.
Oh no, yeah, everyone's moving out, bro. Everyone's moving out. So you're probably living in your quality of life is probably a lot better than mine. Here in the Bay Area. It's true. It's true. I mean, you're living literally paycheck to paycheck here, and you're still not making it. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But no, thank you and mahalo for joining the BEASTwriter family. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? The draft, all the new players we required, you know, the future of our franchise, Trey Lance. I was pretty big on Fields, but at the same time, it was kind of funny because I was kind of going back and forth between quarterbacks. First, I saw Zach Wilson. My eyes got big. Ooh, Zach Wilson, this amazing mobile quarterback with a deep ball. Then all of a sudden, I was like, we're not going to get him. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me look at Trey Lance. Oh, wow, Trey Lance is amazing. But then I started seeing Fields in his pro day, and I was like, oh, wow, look at this deep ball accuracy that this guy has. So, you know, then I was kind of weighing around, like, who are we going to get? Then I thought, okay, maybe the Fields-Shanahan connection. We're probably going to get Fields. So I was just stuck on Fields. And then, but again, I was like anybody but Mac Jones, and I didn't want Mac Jones at number 3. But to make a long story short, the more I've watched of Fields, I actually watched a lot more Fields after the draft than before. Before, I mainly saw Fields' highlights. I didn't really watch his breakdowns or anything like that. But watching Fields' breakdowns, I mean, this guy does not panic. This guy, you can throw pressure on him. Everything, like the way, like he'll make things that look super fast just look slow and easy. Like he's just, okay, whatever. Oh, this guy's coming at me. This time I'm just going to jump shift this way and then throw it. Like he has this weird like jump shift movement in the pocket where he resets his feet. I don't know, man. This guy, I think this guy's probably going to step on the field a lot sooner than people think. People think of him as a project, but he might be a slight project. But the way he picked up on the playbook when Shanahan gave him a portion of the playbook 3 days after, or within 3 days after he got the portion of the playbook after the pro day, Shanahan called him and he said he already got this memorized. And
yeah,
maybe by now he has the whole playbook memorized. Who knows?
Yeah. I thought the Niners did a pretty good job in the draft. I didn't like the selection of Aaron Banks. I thought they really whiffed on not going after nickelback Asante Samuel. I think when they traded back from 43 to 48, that was a stupid move because they needed a nickelback. They needed an insurance policy in case one of the, cornerbacks were going to come off the board. And when you have Asante Samuel sitting there at 43 to move back just 5 spots for a guy like Aaron Banks, I just don't see the logic behind that because they had to spin their wheels and get Ambry Thomas in the late third. So they needed the cornerback. He was higher on their board. If you're going to trade up for a guy or trade back for a guy at 48, it has to be a guy of similar skill set and similar value. I think Asante Samuel Jr. was a better fit there. Now, that's not to say that Aaron Banks is not going to be good. I just felt like Asante Samuel added more value at that selection, and they hold favorable draft position in the top of the second round or middle of the second round, I should say. What are your thoughts on that? Would you have rather had Asante Samuel Jr. or Aaron Banks?
I liked Asante Samuel Jr. coming out of the draft, but at the same time, when I saw Aaron Banks on those highlights, and I played offensive line in high school, I'm a big dude, so my eyes did get big though because this guy kind of reminds me of like a poor man Giapati somewhat, and they said he's excellent in pass protection, so I wasn't too mad with the pick, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I was pretty pissy in rounds 2 and 3 because all these big time wide receivers or these burner type wide receivers that we need were all being taken. And on top of that, they were going to our division. Like, okay, this does not help. But Asante Samuel was one of the guys that I had in mind in round 2. I really thought we would get that guy, but we didn't. And I try not to get too mad at who we don't get, because at the end of the day, I kind of look at it as, these coaches and these scouts and these GMs, it's their lives, and they put in their their blood, sweat, and tears into who they're going after. They're not like a fan like me that just clicks on a simple YouTube video or watches this and that, watches about 5 or 6 videos about one player and then calls it a day. So I'm not going to get too mad.
Don't sell yourself short, man, because I feel like you have a lot of knowledge. I mean, this is your first time here in the BEASTwriter family on the live stream, but don't sell yourself short, man. I mean, if you have an analysis, go ahead and spit it. I mean, I didn't get to where I am by, saying, I'm going to depend on the coaches or the scouts to think that they know more than me. If you have a conviction about something, put it out there, bro. Because at the end of the day, you can give them the benefit of the doubt because there's a reason they're coaches and whatever, and you're not. But at the end of the day, if you're more right than wrong, hey, you're going to gain credibility. So you in your heart, that Asante Samuel was a better play than getting a guy like Aaron Banks. Would you agree with that? Just yes or no?
I'd say yes in terms of the corners because we lack corner depth. I'm sorry, we lack corner depth.
Thank you.
I do like the 2 guys that we picked up though in terms of what they possibly could do for us. But obviously, Asante Samuel, in comparison to those guys coming out, his potential, his ceiling, what would have been obviously a better pick in comparison to the corners that we picked. But we'll wait and see, man.
Okay, what about your Okay, so now let's move on. The first 2, first round, we got obviously Trey Lance. Second round, you obviously got Aaron Banks. Third round, what did you think of the third round pick, Ambry Thomas, the cornerback? Are you happy with that? And are you happy with Ambry Thomas? Well, forget Ambry Thomas because he's one of those guys let's talk about Trey Sermon. They got Trey Sermon at number 88. Are you happy with Trey Sermon? I am. I like Trey Sermon. I thought Michael Carter would have been a better player for the zone blocking scheme, but that's not to say Trey Sermon's not going to ball out of control. I mean, he's going to be 1,000-yard back for Shanahan's offense. You watch and see. What are your thoughts on Trey Sermon?
Trey Sermon, it's funny because for years I was telling my friends, like, with the Shanahan system running game that we have, it's always been like a plug and play type running back system. We'll just pick up these like NFL retreads or undrafted guys that nobody ever would have a clue would pan out in the NFL, but for some reason we'd give these guys the rock, and they'd be productive. They'd, Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and whoever. So I would always tell his friends, like, just imagine if we ever picked up like a big name, high profile running back coming out of college and to see what they could do in our system. So it looks like we finally drafted one of those guys. Now he's no Saquon Barkley, but he is a bigger name running back with more upside than what we've had in the past and we drafted. Well, we drafted Joe Williams at one time, but that definitely didn't pan out. But yeah, so I wasn't even expecting us to draft a running back, and I didn't really want to draft a running back because I was happy with the production we got from the running backs in general. But despite the injuries, obviously they do get hurt. And then, but we picked up Gallman though too, so I was like, okay. But then when we got Sermon, I was like, you know what? This is probably the exception. Don't want to draft a running back. Would rather get a receiver or defensive back in that case. But hey, we got Sermon, and I'm looking for him to do some big things. I do like that pick. You mentioned Michael Carter. A few of my buddies mentioned him before, but I'll be honest, I didn't scout him or try to analyze and see what he could do. But I definitely was familiar with Sermon coming out of college, and I think he could bring a different dimension to our running game. So it'll be very interesting to see what he could do.
Yeah, he's gonna be legit. I was hearing that they were going to go running back, which is why they got Trey Sermon in the third round. In fact, they were actually looking at getting a running back in round 2. So that was definitely an option. And once Javonte Williams was out of the picture, I think all bets were off. Obviously, everyone wanted Javonte Williams' services. So with him being the last tier 1 running back on most teams' boards to fall to the Denver Broncos, where they traded up from 40 to 35 with Atlanta Falcons to go ahead and get that guy. That's when you saw these teams kind of, taking a wait and see approach when it came to the running back position, because Michael Carter, as you know, fell to the New York Jets in the 4th round, right? Michael Carter goes to the New York Jets, who run the same exact system that the San Francisco 49ers run. So that's why I said, even leading up to the draft, I was like, they're going to go running back. Look out for Michael Carter. Obviously, Javonte Williams was one of them. and one of those two guys. And when they went up and got Trey Sermon instead of Michael Carter, for me, that was like, whoa. One, that tells me one of two things. One, it tells me someone in the scouting department had a huge conviction. And scouting department, I mean like either Ethan Wall, the director of college scouting, who, is in charge of, these types of moves, along with John Lynch and so forth. But he probably had a strong conviction saying, you know what, let's go after Trey Sermon as opposed to a guy like Michael Carter, because Trey Sermon comes from a bigger time school, right? He adds another dimension to our team. Is a little bit bigger, not the fastest, but what he does do is he's a one cut back, right? And our one cut back system, he's perfect to what Kyle Shanahan likes to do. Let's just go ahead and get that guy because it's a scheme fit. And let's just give up 2 4th-round picks and trade up to number 88 and just get the guy off the board who we feel would likely do better than a guy like Michael Carter, who then goes in the same system with the New York Jets. So any one of those two players I would have been happy with. And it just turns out that I think both players are going to do well. Who's going to have a better year? I mean, I don't know. I think Trey Sermon should get the lion's share of the reps. I mean, I hate to say that, but let's face it. Jeff Wilson can't stay healthy. Raheem Mostert can't stay healthy. That's why they got a running back. And when you're moving on from a 16-game schedule to now a 17-game schedule, you're going to need that stable workhorse running back for the foreseeable future to give Trey Lance something to work with for continuity purposes, right? For his growth, his maturation process. So adding a guy like Trey Sermon, who comes out of the same draft class as Trey Lance, they can kind of build that rapport there organically and be like, okay, we're not going to give Trey Sermon the starting reps yet, just like Trey Lance, but we're going to slowly acclimate him into the offense. And once Trey Lance is ready, Trey Sermon will already entrench as the day one starter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, without a doubt. Just a little side note. Whenever I hear the name Michael Carter, I think of a 6'2", 320-pound nose tackle that won Super Bowls with us. So or that Hawaii quarterback. Remember that Hawaii quarterback, Michael Carter?
Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah, Michael Carter is like a common name. The Jets got 2 Michael Carters. They got Michael Carter the second too. So they drafted 2 Michael Carters in that same draft class, believe it or not. Yeah. So that's going to be...
Shout out to Rolls Royce in the chat, by the way. My buddy Rolls Royce in the chat.
Oh, there you go. So how did you found me from KMBR? From just listening on KMBR?
I remember hearing you on KMBR years ago, some interview. And then definitely, I think I messaged you once on Twitter or Instagram or something a long time ago. And it was during the time you had that Eric Armstead beat. And I was and then we had a couple of laughs about that.
What do you think of that? Who was in the wrong? He personally attacked me, Brian.
Yeah, he was in the wrong. I actually went back and recently reread what he said. I didn't catch the part where I think he said something. He may have said some stuff against Asian people. I don't know. I must have missed that because whoever reposted it only showed so much, maybe. But I didn't catch him being racist. But I did catch him saying some stupid stuff about your profession.
No, he wasn't racist. He wasn't racist. No.
Okay.
He was targeting a demographic by saying short man complex, right?
I saw that. Yeah.
So like
he mentioned your job in the insurance field or something. It was stupid.
Yeah. So he had to do his research for that, and then he had his family chiming in on me on Instagram, sliding DMs, saying, like basically saying, "Oh, you need to stick to bodybuilding and this," and I'm like, okay, well, it's funny to have his own family defend him and then slide in my DMs on Instagram, right?
I forgot what he said about it. Was it something about him being slow in the pass rush? I think it was about that or something, right?
It was just like I was just pointing out game film breakdowns and what he had a slow get off, right? And basically I was breaking down plays, but I was giving him praise when he was doing well too. And he I don't know, for whatever reason, just went off on me and then called me an amateur fanboy, short man complex. It's crazy.
Yeah,
right?
It's all there. Whoever wants to look.
Yeah, whoever wants to see it, just go ahead and Twitter that, or you can Google it. Bleacher Report did a nice report on that. It says Rips little man called me a little man, called me an ego lifter. Says that I'm going to take your job as a sales guy, which is kind of mind-boggling because first you have to put a coherent sentence together to even formulate and get your insurance license, your property and casualty insurance license in the first place. Take a code of ethics. Obviously, this wouldn't bode well, right? So I mean, it's all there. I mean, everything's there, and it's funny because at the end of the day, it's like when you say things like short man complex, like if someone was like bigger and they said fat man, you know what I mean? Yeah, fat, whatever, right? Like you're targeting a specific demographic, are you not?
Oh yeah. And for the record, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'5", bro.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm only 5'5". So I'm short. But I mean, again, what does it give him the right to go ahead and, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of, I mean, trust me, there's people who seen that. I mean, it went all the way to the top. They know about it. And it's just funny how he thinks it's funny that he keeps him up. And then years later, he called me two clowns in the pod, or right. He called us two clowns in the pod with me and Grant. Right. And so I was like, okay, that had nothing to do. Like it was like quiet, right. Up until that point. And then he comes in and then says that. And so now it's like, well, okay, well, here we have Dana Stubblefield 2.0 now. Right. Let's face it. You know who Dana Stubblefield is, right? He was only doing well when who was playing next to him? Bryant Young.
Yeah, Bryant Young.
Would you agree with me that Eric Armstead brings a similar impact only when he has better supporting cast around him?
That's true. I mean, some people. Well, actually, I went back to David Royce in chat. He can't stand Eric Armstead. He always says he hates Armstead.
He said he doesn't like him either.
He hates Armstead. He'll probably type something about him right now if he's still in the chat. But he's more of like a complimentary player. But I mean, he did pick up those 10 sacks that 1 year, but he does have to have that help around him. And the thing is, but one thing we do to Armstead that I don't like is he's not a freaking edge rusher. He's not an outside pass rusher. He is not. I remember when I was going back and forth with you because at that point they kept making a point to put him on the outside, and I remember I was typing to you. I said this to my friends. I remember saying it to you and you laughed in the chat or something. It was like I told you, like, yeah, whenever I see him going after the quarterback on the edge, he looks like a tortoise. And I remember because I don't know what game it was, but one game he was trying to go after some quarterback, and he looked like he did not belong out there. I mean, obviously he's an NFL player, but he's just out of position in what they were doing.
Eric Armstead's, like I said, like he gives up too much run support and rush integrity. Like he doesn't have rush integrity. He gives up too much gap containment, gap control. And my grading system will reflect that. I mean, if you want play-by-plays, shoot, I can give you play-by-plays. I can do it again, and then he'll probably lash out at me for something else. Like, oh, well, what do you know? Like, whatever, which is cool. I mean, but just be professional about it. Like, but once you start personally attacking somebody, it just makes a bad look on you, right? Does it not?
Oh yeah. Well, let's get back to the draft. I think we're giving him too much credit with this draft.
All right, let's get back to the draft.
Right.
What's going on with that?
So again, back to the running backs. I didn't think we drafted any running back at all. Maybe you had it in mind that we probably drafted running back, but I was shocked when we drafted Elijah Mitchell. I was like, really? Don't we need a receiver? I was like, when are we going to pick up one of these damn receivers? And we got Mitchell, but then it goes to show that.
So I guess we don't have. I guess we don't have Mike. This is sound gone. Let me put this up. I can hear you. Hold on. They said no audio. Do you see that?
I didn't see, hang on. Do you hear me?
No, see. Is it good? Can you guys hear us now?
Do you guys hear me? It says sound dropped. Echo, no audio.
How's the audio now?
Who do you guys hear?
Can you guys hear it? No? Hold on, let me do this.
Hello? We can hear you good, Beast. They said they hear me. Do you hear me? Let me see. Do you hear me talking?
Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear?
Can you guys hear? Come back?
Maybe. I don't know. It said sound is good.
Okay,
sound is good.
Okay, cool.
Looks like it. Crackling sound. There's a crackling sound.
Somebody said we can hear. I hear you both. Okay. Okay, good audio here. You know, I said on my phone to test it out.
Is it your phone?
No, I was just gonna say I was gonna click on YouTube on my phone to see if it was working. But I see some people saying audio is good. So
okay, someone says echo. People are trolling the chat. It says people are trolling the chat, so I guess they're just lying.
Okay. I didn't expect the chat to blow up that much. I didn't know that many people were in the damn chat.
Well, it's probably because we're talking about Eric Armstead now.
Oh, I know. He probably got his whole family on there. Whole family
probably
there.
Does.
Oh, Beast Mode. They're talking. BEASTwriter's talking about you.
Yeah. Hit it up. But anyways.
Yeah. But I was mentioning Elijah Mitchell. It looks like they're trying to move from Mostert is probably what it is. Because remember, Mostert was like, oh, I want more money. And, and he keeps getting hurt. So I don't think they were too big on that.
Yeah. We have, it says still don't work. There's people saying that it's not working. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what's going on.
I was gonna click on my phone and click on YouTube.
There's hella. Okay, so apparently there's a lot of trolls in here that's just trolling right now. So people are saying it's cool.
Okay, got it.
You get it? See, that's what you get here in the BEASTwriter family. See, when people want to look at and it's going up. See, I can hear both. See, the BEASTwriter family's coming in. All right, let's get on to anything else. What else did you have to say about this? Oh, you have to unmute your map. You're there. You go. You're good. Go ahead.
So, well, yeah, I mute myself when I'm not talking is what I do, just so you could have the floor. Yeah. But I like the Talanoa. Is it Talanoa or Talanoa?
Talanoa Hufanaga.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah,
I just made it up.
Yeah, a buddy of mine who calls in on these Niners shows, I'll shout him out, Chenille. He put me on to him, and he was always talking about him, how he'd love to see the 49ers draft him. And then I almost forgot about him once the draft came up. But then I was like, oh, look, we got him in the 5th round. And lo and behold, I found out, hey, he's been mentored by Troy Polamalu. And then I'm going to watch his film, and he just he loves to force turnovers, and recover fumbles, force fumbles, and get interceptions. And from when I was reading, one of the coaches that he had was actually saying he's one of the smartest defensive players he had. I could actually pull it up and kind of quote what he said about him if you want me to do that. But I'm kind of excited about that pick. But I've noticed that he's getting some shade where a lot of people are saying that he's only going to be a special team player, or they're throwing this like ceiling on him like right away. It's just like, let him step on the field first. Let's see what he can do. I mean, I know he said he wanted to be a Pro Bowl special teamer, which is a good goal for him. But I know I'm curious to see what he can do, man.
Yeah. Who is your favorite player along the defensive line in terms of making the greatest impact on that defense outside of Nick Bosa?
Outside of Bosa.
Yeah.
That's kind of tough because it's with our D line, it's like we have so many guys that we what's the word? We just have so many guys that we just keep rotating. We have such a rotational defensive line. I haven't seen him be as disruptive yet, but I think I'm going to give the nod to Kinlaw. I really think that Kinlaw is going to make a step up this year, and I see him being more of a disruptive player. So I know we picked up Hurd too, right? Hurd from Carolina Panthers. I hear he's pretty good.
I like Javon Kinlaw. I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. I think he's obviously he calls me his biggest inspiration. But I think he's going to have 5 to 9 sacks, if not more. And I think he's going to benefit from Nick Bosa. I think Eric Armstead's going to eat. I think he's going to have a solid year if Nick Bosa stays healthy. Again, there's a reason why, and prove me wrong, but Eric Armstead does well when he has a strong supporting cast around him. I mean, when he has DeForest Buckner eating double teams, he ate. When Nick Bosa was was having his on the edge, he ate. When those guys are gone, he didn't eat. And he was getting paid $85 million to be that guy, was he not? And people would say, well, he didn't have people around him. He was a sole focus. Well, hey, the same could be said of Fletcher Cox, right? The same could be said of the Cleveland Browns' Myles Garrett. Same could be said of the Atlanta Falcons' Grady Jarrett, right? These guys were still playing at an all-pro Pro Bowl level without a strong supporting cast. So there is no excuse for him not to get it done. With that being said, because Nick Bosa is back, because Javon Kinlaw is going to have a solid season this year and a breakout season as a pass rusher, Eric Armstead is going to get his. Eric Armstead could possibly lead the league in sacks this year. I know that sounds crazy, but again, that's why I call him Dana Stillfield 2.0, because he could possibly lead the team and the league in sacks. He could have 17 sacks this year. I'm just saying it. Now, does that make him a player worthy of the $85 million contract? I'm not so sure. But if you were to ask me if Eric Armstead is going to have double-digit sacks this year, I would say I'd probably bet my money on that he would. Would you bet your money on Eric Armstead having at least 10 sacks this year? I say yes.
Maybe 8.5. I'm thinking Samson Ebukam, maybe with that speed that he has coming off the edge, might have like a banner career year or something. Maybe he might pick up the stuff.
Okay, so you think Samson? Okay, here's another question. Do you think Samson Ebukam is going to have more sacks than Eric Armstead?
I put my money on that. Yeah, that's where I see it going this year.
Whoa, you're higher on Samson Ebukam as a pass rusher than Eric Armstead, and here I am, and I'm like, me and Armstead had our Twitter beef, and here I am like defending Armstead. I'm saying Eric Armstead is going to have Wow, interesting. So you're not high on Eric Armstead as you are Samson Ebukam when it comes to the pass rush.
I just say it because ebukam's got more of that speed, and it's I always just see more of. I mean, Armstead's more of a cleanup guy. He's not gonna scare quarterbacks with this any speed coming off the edge. I mean, he did well that year in 2019. I'm not gonna hate on him, but I'll probably see him getting 8.5 sacks. I don't know, that's probably where I see him.
Okay, so
this year.
What's your prediction for Samson Ebukam? If you have Eric Armstead at 8.5, which is a good number for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good number for any defensive lineman. What do you see Samson Ebukam having? Double digits?
I'd say 10. I'd say
Wow.
I know I'm going out a little probably. Remember you said on that one show though, I saw what you said the show. You said that we always had to make predictions, and then you were talking about, and then people will hold you up to your predictions. And hey, I don't know, I just have something in my mind that just tells me he may clean up things off the edge and be the beneficiary of everybody else. You got all those big strong guys going after the quarterback, and he's like the speedy guy on the opposite side. So
that's interesting that you point that out. Wow, that's crazy. Because if you're right, I want to have you back on the show and be like, Bastard Z got it right and BEASTwriter got it wrong. Well, thank you so much, my man, for hopping on this live stream. It was fun. It was fun. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before I let you go? Is there anything that's on your mind? We can talk about it. I mean, we're not short on time here.
Really quick. I think just about Trey Lance. I want to touch on Trey Lance really quick, because a lot of people are like, they're so stuck on the fact that he's so inexperienced, and we're gonna have to sit him behind Jimmy. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a strong chance that he's gonna have this playbook down more so than Jimmy when they go once they do go into the camp. That's how dedicated he is about learning the playbook. That's how, in terms of him being able to retain information from what people have been saying, that's how good he is at that. So he obviously has the higher ceiling than Jimmy. But my argument is that Kyler Murray coming out only played 14 games, and you have Trey Lance who played 17 games. So if Kyler Murray was a day one starter, I know he only had Josh Rosen behind him, but still, I mean, why can't Kyler Murray step in? No, Trey Lance. Why can't Trey Lance step in and be the quarterback, be the guy? I mean, I know he has Jimmy behind him. Maybe if he didn't have a bigger name behind him, it wouldn't be or such a big deal. But I just think Trey Lance has a really good shot of stepping on the field this year.
I think Trey Lance is going to get a starting gig probably around week 10 to week 12. I think that's kind of like the cutoff point for Jimmy Garoppolo if the season goes sour. However, if the season goes well and it's sweet and all good and dandy, then Trey Lance is going to have to take a wait-and-see approach, because as it gets later on into the season and the team is fighting for a playoff berth, that's when Trey Lance is going to have to take a back seat and they're going to have to regroup next year. But thank you so much for hopping on to the live stream here in the BEASTwriter family. Mahalo for the love, bro. Always good talking to you, and you need to come on more often because you know your stuff. Bashar Z, mark it down. Samson Ebukam is going to have 10 sacks this year and more sacks than Eric Armstead, who is going to have, what do you say, 8.5?
That's 8.5 for Armstead.
So he says Eric Armstead's got 8.5 sacks, and Samson Ebukam is going to have at least 10 sacks. I said the reverse. I think Eric Armstead is going to outshine Samson Ebukam in the pass rush win rate, and he's going to have more sacks. I think Eric Armstead might lead the league in sacks this year.
We gotta tag Armstead on this video on Twitter so you can see it.
Let's not do that. I don't care. You can do it. I mean,
before I go, the big Armstead hater Royce in the chat said 5 sacks. So
he did. He said 5 sacks.
He said 5 sacks. So he's like Armstead's biggest hater.
Wait, he's not a fan of Eric Armstead.
He's the one who hates Armstead. David Royce. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't like. He does not.
He said he wants to have you to have him on. Hey, click on the StreamYard link, Royce. Get on here. All right, man.
Yeah, get on here, Royce. You can definitely come on. All right, thank you so much, Bashar. Appreciate you, man. All right, Rolls Royce, you can definitely hop on to the BEASTwriter live stream. Just head up and open a new web browser, and you'll be on here, bro. That was interesting. So we had Bashar Z, first time viewership here in the BEASTwriter family, hopping onto the live stream, says that he believes Samson Ebukam is going to have 10 plus sacks this year, and Eric Armstead is going to have no more than 8.5. I think Eric Armstead is going to have more than 8.5. In fact, I think he might lead the league in sacks this year with a healthy Nick Bosa and another year under Javon Kinlaw's belt. I think Javon Kinlaw is also going to have a good year too. but hopefully those guys can prove me right. All right, Bashar sees Mr. TA, much appreciated. Sup G. All right, so yes, CJ Ruthless Sports says click on the description. Yes, if you click on the description in this podcast, you can hop onto the live stream and talk to me. We'll talk about all things Beast in real time. Here we go. We're going to talk about some fitness advice. A lot of you guys had some fitness tips, so we're just going to go ahead and move on and talk about this. There's a lot of stuff that you guys wanted to know about this, and we're just going to go ahead and touch base on some fitness advice and tips as it comes to nutrition, dieting, and so forth. All right, so let me just go ahead and pull this up for you guys so you guys can kind of gauge exactly what we're talking about. So earlier we were talking about, body fat percentage, losing weight. How do we go about doing that? When you hear a player or a GM or a coach talk about hitting a player with body analysis, which means dropping weight or adding weight, adding muscle, losing fat, whatever the case may be, it comes down to first what body type you are, right? There's 3 types of body types, right? You have your ectomorphs, you have your endomorphs, and then you have your mesomorphs, all right? Those are the 3 types of body types that we are all kind of fit in a category. Now you can kind of be a blend between one or the other, and there is some gray areas here, but typically an ectomorph is someone who is really skinny and it's hard to pack on weight no matter how much you eat. We all know these people. They can eat whatever they want, but they can't add muscle. They are basically skinny all year round, right? And then you have the endomorph, which is the complete opposite. It's people who can add on muscle really fast, but they also put on a lot of weight really fast, which can include fat. So they're, I guess you would say, mass builders and mass gainers, whereas an ectomorph is not. And then you have the mesomorph, which is a cross between the two. So with that being said, once you find out what your body type is, then you can really focus on the nutrition aspects of it, which comes down to your macronutrients, right? So I'm getting hit on a lot of DMs, a lot of Facebook messages, a lot of Instagram DMs, obviously for my fitness grind. And you guys want to know what the heck, how can you eat Rice Krispie treats and almond butter before your workouts? And how does that impact your gains when you hit inside the gym? Well, the answer is simple, right? You want to spike your insulin levels enough to where you don't have enough fat in there. So it's a little bit of fat, but you still have the carbohydrates, because at some point in time during your workout, you're going to be what's called glycogen depleted. It's a storage form of carbohydrate that gets that your body uses as fuel source of energy. And once you're glycogen depleted, you're going to need to refill those glycogen levels. So how do you do that? By spiking your insulin levels with something that's kind of like high glycemic, something that a high glycemic index, like gummy bears, like Rice Krispie treats, like candy, right? With little to no fat. So with that being said, you want to make sure that you're eating foods that are really going to not compromise your gains, both inside or outside the gym and during your workout. So Rolls Royce says, Beast, does fries and burgers help with fitness? This is funny. This is a funny question because, as you guys know, I eat In-N-Out probably 3-4 times a day. Or no, sorry, 3-4 times a week, I should say. Well, sometimes 3-4 times a day. But I eat a lot. Like, you guys know what I eat. I get a 4x4 extra toasted bun, fries extra well, no salt on the patties, yada, yada, yada. I would say every person is different because I burn a lot of calories. So for me, I need it, but I don't eat that much all the time. Obviously, anytime you eat burgers and fries, that shouldn't be a staple in your diet. So overall, I think that's a bad idea. I just do it because I love to eat mainly. And I think I use that as an excuse because, I'm getting in the gym, so I can eat this whenever I want. No, you cannot. And that goes with me. CJ Lewis Report says, Monday I'll have a stream. You're more than welcome to join and debate Niners topics. I will definitely hop on to your stream on Monday, my man. All right. Mr. Teenage says, Beast, many people want to lose weight, but do so many mistakes trying to do that. In my opinion, exercise and what you eat is the way to go. You know more about food when it comes to nutrition. Yes. And exactly that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about macronutrients. So let's go ahead and talk about macronutrients. What are macronutrients in the first place, right? Well, macronutrients are nutrients that provide calories or energy and are required in large amounts to maintain body functions for your daily active living style, right? Or daily active lifestyle, right? So with that being said, macronutrients are broken down into simplest forms, right? There's 7 macronutrients that we all have in our systems, right? And it comes down to carbs, carbohydrates, fats, dietary fiber, obviously, minerals, proteins, vitamins, and water, right? Those are the 7. And then the 3 macronutrients are commonly found in food. Obviously, you look at your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. Well, when you look at the nutritional label of something, you really want to make sure exactly what you're getting. So when you take this into account and say, okay, well, let's take a look at, for example, a Rice Krispie treat, right? Well, it has 17 grams of carbs, right? Of that is dietary fiber. How many grams of dietary fiber? Not very much, right? But then you look at the protein. Well, it's only like 1 gram of protein. So it's not really nutritious for you technically because there's not much protein in it. It's a lot of carbs. It's a lot of sugar. And then the fat content's really low. It's probably 2 grams of fat per 1 Rice Krispie treat. So when you take that into account, is it nutritious for you? Probably not. But then again, it's like it is nutritious for you if you time sensitive out. If you're about to hit a workout, that's what I eat. I just talked about why you're being glycogen depleted during the course of your workout. You need to replenish that glycogen. So during my workout, when I feel tired, I pop one of those Rice Krispie treats in and boom, I'm good to go. I also take it as a pre-workout if I can't make my oatmeal in time, because oatmeal is good because it's a good dietary fiber. It's going to prolong your workout. I add brown sugar in it to spike my insulin levels up, and then you're good to go there. So with that being said, both those things are good foods to eat as a pre and post workout. And again, protein is 4 grams per calorie, or sorry, 4 calories per gram. So let's say that you're eating a hamburger patty and then they say it's 25 grams of protein in this hamburger patty. Well, what does that mean mathematically? Well, 25 times 4, because 4 grams, it's 4 calories per gram. So 25 times 4 is 100. So there's 100 calories in 25 grams of protein. Make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. The same thing goes as carbs. So if a Rice Krispie treat hypothetically was 25 grams of carbs, you just multiply that by 4. That's how many calories you're getting from carbohydrates, which would be 100 calories. All right. And then the fat, it's 9 calories per gram, which is the highest. So it's basically doubling what your protein and fat intake is, protein and carb intake is. So that's why you got to watch the fat. Now, there's a difference between saturated fat and unsaturated fat. I'll get into that later. But again, the common denominator is you really need to figure out the nutrition label and what you get in your foods, because a lot of people are on these yo-yo diets and they don't really work. John Zach says, lettuce wraps, that bun, my guy, it's a game changer. Lettuce wrap for the protein style burger. I haven't tried that, John. I need to try that. I don't know. If I'm going to get a burger, man, I need to get the freaking bun. But Z says, damn, you kill In-N-Out on a regular. I know, I do. I'm known to eat In-N-Out like a lot. Like if you hang out with me, you know, like I can eat a lot. Like they know me. Like when I pull up to the drive-thru, let's put it this way, they know my order before I pull up. That's how often I go. Manish Basi says, Beast, when are you going to start posting workout videos? I'll be posting more workout videos. Hopefully today. I'll be hopping off this live stream in a little bit, and we can go ahead and do that. CJ Ruthless Sports says, working on dropping weight, but I work so hard. I walk around patrolling the site. It burns calories. Yes, you do. Good job, man. That's what I would do. I would just walk around the site. John Zach says, protein style. That's the way to go. CJ Ruthless Sports says, some vinegar burns the fat. It does. If you have apple cider vinegar, it speeds up your metabolism as well. If you guys don't like drinking apple cider vinegar, because you guys were probably seeing this on whatever the case may be, get some goli berries. That's right. Get some goli berries. It's Goli berries. They're basically like gummies, goli gummies, and you just shoot them in your mouth. They're apple cider vinegar, but you don't get that vinegar taste of it, and it helps speed up your metabolism, and it's really good for your immune system. So get apple cider vinegar, goli gummies, and it was made famous by Ellen DeGeneres. It was on her show. She kind of advertises that, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but goli berries, they're good. They're legit. They're expensive, but they're good. Manish Basi says, Beast, I'm getting my second vaccine shot this Saturday. Well, good luck, Manish. I hope everything goes well for you, man. Bashar Z says, you need to take McGlinchey to In-N-Out with you. Oh, man, Bashar. So I had this conversation with Mike McGlinchey right when he got drafted. He does not like In-N-Out. He said In-N-Out was overrated, and I told him, it's like, dude, it's not overrated. This is the same with Mike McGlinchey that said, how do you get arms like you? I should have told him, go get In-N-Out with me, man. Go get a 4x4. We'll pound some 4x4 In-N-Out burgers, and you can get big like me. In-N-Out's life, man. Who does not like In-N-Out? Andrew Manisa says, hey, Beast, I usually work out on a 30-hour fasted state. I'm able to get my gains. People think I'm just plain skinny, but when I use a V-neck shirt, people get shocked. That's what's up, man. A 30-hour fasted state. Wow. That's crazy. That's nuts. That is really crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Manish Basi, glad you're getting your workouts in. Raiders got a D for D's Niner gang. John Zach says, I'm telling you, it's so good. I gotta get this protein solve. I'll do a mukbang for you guys here in the BEASTwriter family. I'll do a full-on video. Maybe I'll hop on a live stream and eat this and give a shout out to John Zach here in the BEASTwriter family if I go ahead and go that route. Andrew Miss says, 48-ounce ribeye steak and 8 eggs right after my workout. That's crazy. That's a lot of – you eat a 48-ounce ribeye steak and 8 eggs right after my workout? Wow. I've never had that in my diet, bro. That's crazy. You eat that right after your workout? Does that depend on your workout? Like, are you hitting a full body workout? Are you hitting legs? Or it's just whatever workout you work out? That's a lot of calories, man, post-workout, bro. Yep. I don't know. That's crazy. Jan Paul Edward de Dios. That's crazy if you can put that down too. That's amazing. Jan Paul Edward de Dios says, is there credence to the idea that some blood type metabolize certain foods better? Yes, there's some science behind it. When it comes to that, to be honest with you, I don't know the specifics of that. Obviously, that's more like chemistry, I guess you would say, science. But Sharzi says, but I don't know the answer. But I did hear that it does have some type of impact for sure. But Sharzi, what are the benefits of apple cider vinegar? Dude, apple cider vinegar. How's the audio now? Is it good? So audio, make sure it's good. Is my audio good? Is my audio good? Is my audio good? Or is my audio bad? That's not good that the audio is not good. All right, so I guess it's going off, right? Is it good or is it bad? Is it good? Is it like a buzzing noise though? If there's a buzzing noise, that's not good. So tell me if there's a buzzing noise in the background or something like that. Is it perfect? Is it clear though? Okay, good. I don't know what's going on with this thing, dude. Anyways, we're back on. How long was I out for? Okay, it looks like I was out for a long time. Or about 3 minutes. Oh, very good now. It's very good. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, what were we talking about? We're talking about nutrition. You guys like this nutrition stuff. So yeah, thank you so much, man. I think we're gonna so Bashar C said 90 seconds. So I was only out for 90 seconds, not bad. All right, so yeah, we were just talking about the foods that we eat. Obviously, some fitness. I hope this helps. I'm gonna post some workout videos for all of you guys because I know you guys like that, and we're gonna go on from there. So again, thank you. John Zach says, can you answer my question? Yes, to answer your question on your job, I think one, you have to get some rest. How to motivate after a heavy, it's hard, man. It's really difficult after a heavy work week or work day to get a workout in. I mean, that's this manual labor. I would say do cardio, honestly, because you're doing a lot of heavy lifting already. So you're working probably a lot of back muscles, working your arms, obviously, your shoulders, your lower back, probably doing a lot of lifting. You're probably working your legs. So you're probably getting an all body workout. My best advice to you would probably hit some cardio. But if you wanted to do some heavy lifting training or some like strength training, I can go ahead and say I would have to kind of work around your schedule to kind of give you better advice on that. But we can definitely see where you're at with that. And then go on that. He says 10 hours back and shoulder. Yeah, that's crazy. I would say that's a workout in itself, bro. You don't want to overdo it because that's a workout in itself. So I would just say do cardio. Do cardio, bro. Mr. Tina, which player you saw have the best fitness way of working and eating in the NFL? Again, I'm going to have to say Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady, again, I never covered him, but just like watching on TV, what I see from him, the documentaries and so forth, it's crazy what he eats and how regiment like his schedule is. He's very serious. There's a reason why he's in the Super Bowl year in and year out. So that's pretty much it. But all right, guys, I think that's going to conclude this podcast. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I have to hit the gym. I'm going to be posting some workout videos for you, all you guys. And again, if you have yet to subscribe to the channel here in the BEASTwriter family, please be sure to do so in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time so we can release this Justin Smith autograph giveaway here in the BEASTwriter family. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I had a lot of fun times here today talking to you, all of you guys. And again, we're going to do it all again. I'm going to get my workout in. I know you guys wanted some workout videos. So this is Workout Wednesday. I'll be posting some workout videos for all of you guys. And we will go ahead and, again, continue this on because right now it's dead time. This is dead time for the NFL, but we're football and fitness. That's what we do. And we're just going to continue on. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I'll be hopping on another live stream. And I'll do another podcast as I finish and wrap up the AFC West grades when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders and in my grading system. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. BEASTwriter out.